and protect the climate. My name is Matt Vespa. I'm a senior attorney at Earth Justice, and I'm going to court to fight for clean energy. Until safe, affordable clean energy is an option in every home, I will never rest.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Earth Justice is fighting to save lives, protect our climate, and strengthen our economy through the shift to zero emissions. If clean air matters to you, visit us at earthjustice.org. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Get it into Boozer, back for Saar, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Oh! It's good! We're point three! UConn goes in front!
Wow. Hi, it's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's here.
What an insane game. I guess there's a few things we could talk about today.
Wow, just wow. The whole thing was a wow. So obviously we're going to do a lot of things today. Trying to do all of it yesterday. Hurricanes hockey. I got the Duke game. It was not on during the hockey game until the very end.
Yeah,
I was monitoring the score. I watched a little bit in intermissions of the first half. So the end of the first half, really where it kind of started to get away from Duke. But it's why the NCAA tournament is so incredible. Like, look, I know people have hot takes, and that's fine. Look, I dealt with people who had hot takes last night after the Hurricanes lost to the Canadiens 3-1 in a game in which Carolina beat the living crap out of Montreal for 2 periods and trailed 3-1. I don't care if you don't see it that way. That was what happened. I mean, you could not have had a more one-sided game for 2 periods that had the team that was getting it fed to them in the lead by 2 goals. But that's what I watched, regardless. So everybody's got hot takes, and that's fine. Sports, it's not that serious. Enjoy whatever gets you through the night, all that kind of stuff. But the NCAA tournament is the single greatest sporting event that we have on our calendar. It's way better than the Super Bowl, the World Series. It's better than anything because it creates feelings that otherwise high-level athletes simply cannot replicate. You cannot manufacture that anywhere. The only thing I think that honestly compares to it, and in this case we're generally talking about adults, like real adults, not college student adults, is major championship golf. Because basketball at the highest level is a series sport. So in order for the Thunder to beat I don't remember who the Thunder played. For the Thunder to beat whoever the Thunder played last year in the final, it's a best of 7. So until we get to a Game 7 or an elimination game, there is no finality to the outcome. But last night, and throughout the tournament, every time you step on the court, it's a Game 7. All of them. Duke Siena, Game 7. Duke TCU, Game 7. And I got news for you. Duke played like it. They played tight against Siena. They played tight for the first 25 minutes against TCU. They played tight against St. John's. Gosh, they're way better than St. John's. And I think they're better than Connecticut too, but Connecticut had a little bit more experience. We're used to it. Alex Caravan has been around, all 5 years in college at UConn? No, nobody does that. And the experience factor mattered. Doesn't matter how good you are. When you get to that moment, you have never been in that moment. They kept talking about all of the things that Cameron and Caden Boozer had won for their entire careers. And yeah, all of that is true. All of the AAU, all of the state championships in Florida, all of the things that they had accomplished, which are real accomplishments, and nobody is diminishing them. The notion that any of those accomplishments is even close to what they were trying to accomplish this season is a joke. The attention, the name on the front of the jersey, the expectations that you will win, whether it's fair or not, it doesn't even matter. All of that. And I know I got people in the cars going, hey, why don't you just call John Scheyer out for the choke artist he is? That's the way people think. I think there were mistakes. But I don't think there were mistakes necessarily that cost Duke the win. I think you give Connecticut a ton of credit for just staying in the fight as long as they could. As I heard Dan Hurley say today, just try to apply some game pressure, which they did. And when you apply game pressure, scoreboard pressure, and you've got essentially everybody on the court for Duke at that point. The Boozer twins, Isaiah Evans, Pat Gongba, Dame Sarr, none of them had been in a similar position a year ago. None of them. Zero. Evans and Gongba played in that game, but they were not feature players in that game. Sarr was in, Italy or Spain, wherever he played, and the Boozers were in high school. And they were expected to drag that across the line. And they should have done it. And were it not for a couple of, I think, probably mental mistakes more than anything else that became physical mistakes, they would have. And then we're just going, man, Duke got away with it. But it would have only masked the problem. And the problem is, and I said it last week, we talked about it all season with regards to the makeup of the team. We'll get to that. But ultimately, experience, especially for the player holding the ball, experience is critical in the NCAA tournament. Critical. I was talking to somebody in the break room earlier today about, the fact that it's very, very hard, almost impossible to win when you are led by freshmen. The last team to do it was Duke in 2015, where you had a freshman point guard, Tyus Jones, and you had freshmen in Justice Winslow and Emeka Okafor and Grayson Allen. You did have a senior in Quinn Cook. That mitigated it, but Cook was not the point guard. Tyus Jones was the point guard. And there were other veterans on that team. But since then, go down the list of winners. There was a lot of experience on every single one of those teams. And so he said, well, Arizona's led by freshmen. You know who's not a freshman? The Big 12 Player of the Year, their point guard, is a senior. How different, and that's really the Achilles heel of Duke, of this team and even last year's team. They didn't have a point guard that could control the game. Got away with it all year long. Won 35 games in spite of not really having a legit, nationally relevant point guard. There's potential there in Boozer, Caden Boozer. And it might have been different with Caleb Foster. But he's still coming back from the injury, and he wasn't that effective as a player yesterday. But my gosh, the lesson that I believe that, well, we already know because the recruiting class reflects it. The lesson that was learned last year, but could not be overcome, maybe in the portal, but you had too many players in that position. The lesson that was learned last year was, man, do we need a point guard? And therein lies the problem. Therein lies the recipe for disaster, if you wanted to use that term. But do not underestimate the pressure of the NCAA tournament. It is like nothing else for players, especially freshman players, who are experiencing that.
Except for the one that did that crazy 3 last night.
Right.
Mullins is a freshman.
But he is a freshman, right? But when you're insulated by older players,
it helps.
You can get away with it. Mm-hmm. And he's not the point guard. Like, Cam Boozer had a good, not a great tournament, but he had a good tournament. But it would have been so much easier for all of Duke to perform with a point guard who had been there.
They needed that.
So we're actually going to talk to a former Duke point guard today. We are going. I'll leave it up to you to decide who that is. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour.
People should be excited.
Yeah, of course. Will be fun. We'll talk about Blue Bloods. There's a hint. All right, we got a lot of stuff to do. Let's go.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
Hey, should we talk about Duke having a 19-point lead right before the end of the first half and losing to UConn in the Elite Eight?
I'm telling you, 19 is the kiss of death number for these ACC teams.
That's right.
A 19-point lead.
Oh, yeah, Carolina had 19 point lead
Get any
over VCU.
lead. 18, 21.
By the way, so don't, for Carolina fans, this is Duke's way of showing you they care. Right? Because I know you had a 19-point lead over VCU and you lost the game, you fired your coach. And this is what I get. John Scheyer should be fired.
Yeah, just.
Okay.
Yeah. Just stop.
Look, the whole, and there's a lot of people, well, Duke's underachieved with. Did Dean Smith underachieve? I'm curious because I need to know. Dean Smith started coaching in 64? Won his first title in 82? I don't know, I'm just asking. I'm just going to ask the question. The answer, of course, is no and no. It's hard. It's really hard. And I don't know if it's getting harder or easier. I really don't know. I think there's certainly more good players today than there were 50 years ago. I don't think there's any debate about that. More good players, certainly more attention, more money, right? And that the money creates other issues. So, but I don't know if it's harder, right? The teams were older and theoretically better as teams back then. It might have made it harder to win those games. So I don't think anybody knows the answer to, is it easier or harder today than it was then? But I think John Scheyer is on a pretty good trajectory. Yeah. It's not easy to win.
No.
It just isn't easy to win. But it did happen again. Last year against Houston in the Final Four, Duke led by 14 with 8:17 to play, lost by 3. Yesterday, 19-point lead. Just before halftime, 19-point lead. Didn't score again the last 3:24. And it's a 15-point lead. It's not egregious. Didn't go from 19 to 10. But 19 to 15, maybe UConn feels a little bit better about things. And actually, Danny Hurley talked about the locker room Did you get this, the one I sent you? Danny Hurley in the locker room could sense his team was okay.
As coaches and players, like we've all been in dead locker rooms and in dead huddles before where that your team is cooked and that they don't believe. And at halftime, I was kind of happy with their demeanor in there. They were like a little bit frustrated, a little bit angry, but really, really determined. And, in the second half huddles, I mean, the group knew that we were getting great shots. They knew that, we had made the right defensive adjustments. We were being a lot more disruptive. Obviously Tarris Reed was dominating the game. We just needed just a couple threes to fall, and we were getting great threes. And it was just, in a way, it felt like it was a little bit of justice that, that we hit a much harder three than a bunch of the ones we were missing throughout the game.
I don't disagree with that at all. St. John's, who careered it from three-point range against Duke in the Sweet 16, you thought, well, if Duke plays defense like that, Connecticut's going to make 60% of their threes because they're an excellent three-point shooting team. And at one point, they were 1 for 17, but they finished 5 out of their last 6. Eventually, it catches up. Credit to Connecticut. They did what they had to do to just hang around. They hung around long enough, and they ultimately got the W. Real quick to the final play. We're going to break down the final play later in more detail with a former Duke point guard. Although it's a debate as to whether or not he was a point guard or a shooting guard. We've had that discussion on the show. 10 seconds left. You're inbounding the ball. Dame Sarr inbounds to Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer can just hang on to it if he wants. He's an 80% free throw shooter. Just hang on to it. You don't have to do it. Cam doesn't have to do anything.
Nothing.
All right? They're not really aggressively trying to foul him. They're trying to trap him. Passes the ball back to Dame Sarr, who's not a good free throw shooter, but smart enough as a player to find Caden Boozer basically at the foul line and maybe just a little bit beyond it. And Caden Boozer is a good free throw shooter, over 80%. So he's got it. Again, you don't have to do anything.
Nope.
He gets the ball at 7.5 seconds on the clock. Connecticut can come to him. They can foul him, whatever. But he makes the mistake. And I'm not here for the emotions of it. I cost us our season, which is what he said in the locker room after the game. Whether that's true or not, I'm not here for that. He catches the ball with 7.5 seconds left, and he dribbles. No! Don't! You don't have to pass the ball at all. You don't have to dribble the ball at all. Heck, again, Cam didn't either, but Caden's got it in the middle of the court, and you don't have to do anything. But he dribbles, and then he picks his dribble up. Now he's toast. But again, he could have called timeout, or he could have just held on to the ball and waited to be fouled.
Yeah.
But no, he's trying to get rid of it because Connecticut had pushed everybody up into the defensive half of the court for them, or the offensive half of the court, the backcourt. They pushed everybody up, all 5 guys before the center court stripe. And Caden knows that I've got Isaiah Evans and Pat Gongba down the other end of the court with nobody from Connecticut. All I've got to do is get them the ball, doesn't matter which, it's a dunk, and the game is over. Except it got deflected, and it got stolen. And Alex Caravan, the fifth-year senior, rather than take a shot, passes it to Mullins, who drains a 35-footer. Wasn't at the buzzer, but 0.4 seconds left. There might 0.3, but they put 0.4 on. Might as well have been the buzzer, and that's your season.
Yep.
All of the things that could have gone wrong for Duke there went wrong, and it's really because of panic. And when you have players who have not done it before, It's going to happen. You can't simulate it in practice. The funny thing, earlier this season, I watched a video, I kid you not, in which Duke was watching an end-of-game situation in the NBA. Duke, one of their social media platforms, pushed it out. And it's a former Duke player, I believe it was Trey Jones, catches the ball, and he's about to go out of bounds. There's only a couple of seconds left in the game. And rather than do that, he simply lofts the ball up into the air. There were like 2 seconds left. He just tossed it in the air. Clock running. Clock can't stop until the ball hits something. End of game. Doesn't make a difference what happens after that. End of game. They watched it. They talked about it. So as best you could prepare your team for that situation, John Scheyer did. Doesn't matter, because until you live it, nothing like that will ever resonate. You have to live it. Caden Boozer could have simply tossed the ball in the air. Just thrown it straight up in the air.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't want to hit the Jumbotron.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he could have tossed it. He didn't have to try to make a direct pass. He could have done like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook.
Right.
It gets over the 3 guys that were charging at you, and the game is over.
He could have tried to make a shot from there.
He could have, but none of that matters.
No.
Because it all happened.
Yeah.
It all happened. All right. We're going to talk a ton about that. So, and by the way, former college basketball coach Tim Welsh is going to join us in about 10 minutes, and we'll get his perspective on what took place at the end. And all the stuff about Duke as a team we've talked about all year long. Looks like we're getting a new guy in Raleigh. So, I guess this was at the end of last week before Tennessee played Michigan in the regional final on Saturday. I guess this was from Friday. Rick Barnes, the head coach of Tennessee, was singing the praises of former Wolfpack starting point guard Justin Gainy.
Well, I hope he gets that job, because I don't think there's anyone in the country that loves NC State more than Justin Gainy. He's a North Carolina native. He went to NC State, played 4 years there, started 4 years, helped him win an ACC tournament. He has just incredible pride in his university, and a terrific basketball coach. I mean, he highly. I mean, if you come to our walkthroughs like today or the other day, he scouted the last game. I don't say a whole lot because those guys have it, but Justin is. He's got an incredible feel for the game. He really understands players. He works at it. Terrific recruiter. Understands the NIL era today. If NC State knew what I knew, they would be begging him to be their next head coach, because he's ready for not just NC State. He's ready to be the head coach of University of Tennessee or any school in the country. He's that good. And again, I've been with him through a lot of these games, and he's. He recruited Nate. He was the lead recruiter on him, and just phenomenal job. And with all that said, one of the finest people I've ever been around, and a beautiful family.
It's Justin. That's Rick Barnes, Tennessee head coach, on Justin Gainy, who, according to Cory Smith from Pack Power and others, will be introduced as the next head coach at NC State. Look, I said this the other day. There's some risk here because he's never been a head coach before. And NC State is not an easy job. It's a difficult job. But I'll take Rick Barnes on his word that NC State should have been begging Justin Gainy to take the job. And maybe they did, because it does appear that Justin Gainy will be the next head coach at NC State. This is not about, maybe it was for NC State about staying within their own, NC State basketball family. But I cautioned last week, don't try to find your forever coach. It's not the point. You got to find the right coach. Doesn't have to be a forever coach. Somebody to take you to where you need to be as a program. And for NC State, where they need to be is consistently in the top, certainly consistently in the top third of the ACC. Ideally, top, 4 or 5, because we have, 36 teams in the league now. So be there and be in the NCAA tournament every year. Not half the time, all the time. Be in the NCAA tournament. That's what NC State basketball has to be. That's who you're supposed to find. And if Justin Gainy turns out to be that guy, awesome. If it helps that he is one of your own, even better. Again, shouldn't look to find your forever coach, but certainly a good hire, I guess, because we don't know. But
I just put a poll out so people on our YouTube stream, they can answer that question if they like the hire or not.
Yeah.
So we'll just get a poll.
Can I answer it?
Yes, absolutely.
Do I have to go to YouTube to do it?
You can do both.
Oh, it's on your Twitter?
No, it's not on. It's on our YouTube stream in the chat.
Oh, okay.
So you could go on our
there.
chat and do that, and you can just say it here too.
That's right.
Check both boxes.
You can do that. And by the way, go to the YouTube chat because we'll have one-timers coming up in just a little bit, right? About, 5 of 10. No, 10 of, not 5 of. 5 of, we're out. About 10 of, maybe a little bit before. Tim Welsh is going to join us, former Iona and Providence head basketball coach, on, what went wrong for Duke? Next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly.
And me, Dennis Cox.
And we are headed to Indianapolis.
Join us Thursday and Friday from Indy, the site of college basketball's national championship.
We'll bring you all the news, insight, and interviews you'll only get by being there in person.
Maybe we'll even talk to Carolina or State's next head coach.
Or their last head coach.
We're at the Natty thanks to Carolina Ale House.
Call Carolina Ale House to book your watch party at one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them. See if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, everybody. Paul Ihander here once again from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. And right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Not $100, not $200, $300. Here's how it works. Place any bet with FanDuel using your Bet Reset token. And if it doesn't win, you get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. And you know what time of year this is. Baseball's underway. We're getting ready for play-ins and certainly the playoffs. So now's the time to sign up. Visit FanDuel.com/Paul. FanDuel.com/Paul. FanDuel. Play your game. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN is a nonprofit that has helped me literally change the lives of people in my community through the Donated Dental Services program. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one of the many patients in need each year. If you're a dentist or know a dentist, please share this information. Like me, they can make a real difference in someone's life. DLN makes it easy.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more. That's willyouseeone.org.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Lost in all of this, all of the did Duke choke? Is John Scheyer a choker? Has Duke underachieved? Blah, blah, blah. All of that is the fact that, and we've been saying it on this show over and over and over and over again, experience in the NCAA tournament matters, and it matters a lot. Doesn't mean Duke couldn't win. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And at the hottest time, Duke's inexperience hurt. It hurt them big time. Tim Welsh, first at Iona, then at Providence, was an NCAA men's basketball coach, now with ESPN, Celtics, radio, everything. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. Coach, how you doing?
We're doing great. How are you guys doing in Carolina?
We're fine.
I got family there.
I know.
A love for the state, the area. We love Duke. We love Carolina. We love state. We love them all.
You have ties.
I still can't believe what I saw, but hey, that's what makes sports great for most, except those poor guys in the locker room. I really felt bad. I really did, and I always feel bad for the losing team, especially when the players are come up with respect, a great program that I have a total respect for. I mean, I don't feel bad for everybody. There's some of those teams that I don't feel bad for.
I would like to ask. I'm not going to ask you which teams would you not feel bad for. I'm not going to ask Tim Welsh that question.
I just don't like coaches that go in and make excuses.
Right.
And if we had this guy, we could, I like Nate Oates, but come on, don't talk about Charles Badiacco after you get pounded by Michigan. I mean, John Scheyer was the ultimate, most respected person in sports yesterday, the way he handled himself, and he learned well under Mike. And, I wouldn't expect anything less. As hard as that could be, as a coach, that was the hardest thing you have to do is go up there and try to explain that.
Yeah, I thought what I saw from players in the locker room too is that they handled it like adults, which you don't always see. And it's I've been in losing locker rooms, right? I have been in locker rooms where
take it from a New England Patriots season ticket holder. We love your guy up here, Drake May, saving the day.
Yeah,
but after the Super Bowl, after Will Campbell, his left tackle, who just got steamrolled for the whole afternoon and night against the Seahawks, he went and hid. He went and hid after the game. He couldn't be found. And Caden Boozer took every call like a grown-up, like an adult. And, hats off to him. Obviously, he learned well from his parents, and Duke wouldn't have anything less because that's the way they run their program. But that was so impressive to me.
Yeah, it's not easy, especially for a kid who didn't play a ton throughout the season, and then when Caleb Foster goes down, he is asked to do so much. And so my theory all year long has been that the one thing that might get Duke in the end is the fact that they don't have a great point guard. This is not to mean that Caden Boozer can't become a great point guard. But at this point, not having played a ton, he's played plenty, but not 30 minutes a game in the highest pressure situations against the best teams. It hasn't always been him, and they've run their offense through his brother anyway, but he hasn't been asked to run the team in a cauldron like that. Did something like that come back to hurt Duke at the end?
Yeah, it probably did. Down the stretch, when you have a lead like they did, a lot of things have to happen to go wrong for you to lose. And the one thing is you got to keep running good offense, and somehow, Connecticut's going to take away whatever you're trying to do, and then you've got to counter with other things, and they couldn't do that. And their offense was totally out of sync. They started turning it over, and even in the most important times, to have Cam Boozer try to go one-on-one against a set defense as good as UConn's is hard to do. He's great. He did it against St. John's. He found a way, and Caleb Foster found a way, too. They didn't really run any plays, but they just said, okay, we're going to give it to our best players and try to get through the door. And, they were out of sync. They didn't get good shots. They turned it over, and UConn turned those into points. And then, to me, it was that, but also the defense just stepped back a little bit, the communication level. The threes they gave up down the stretch pretty much, Adam, were all uncontested.
Yep.
Silas Demery is not a three-point shooter. He's had injuries as well lately. He doesn't look like himself out there on the floor, although he willed his way to make big plays, the 2 threes, and then he's the one, I believe, he deflected the ball in the last play.
Mm-hmm.
But, having said that, those were uncontested threes. You've got to you're out there on the floor. Your man has the ball. He's out there. He's capable. You've got to put your hand up. You've got to try to contest him. And they didn't. They lost track of him twice. And then the one when Caravan made it, Cam Boozer made a real bad play defensively where he tried to go up the middle and cut the play and maybe get a steal and gamble a little bit. And he got pinned by the pin down screen, and Caravan was standing wide open outside the three-point line. You have to make him put the ball on the floor. So they gave up those 3 threes, which were critical to get them, confidence to get back in the game. And then, the last play is the last play. Caden Boozer learned how to play in the last possession of a game with the lead when he was about 8 years old, I would imagine. Don't tell me they weren't taught the right way how to play. But it happens. It happens in sports. I go back. We did that one time, and we had a lead the whole night against Notre Dame, and we got a lead. We got the rebound with 6 seconds to go to the game up 2, and one of my players decided to try to pass the ball instead of hold on to it. Luke Herringody intercepted it, laid it up, and we lost in overtime. It happens.
Yep.
It happens. Players at every level, the professional level. You go back in time to Chris Webber, didn't know how many timeouts they have. The pressure of the tournament is so extreme that you're going to see crazy stuff happen, and I'm sure I feel bad. All I could think about this morning is how bad John felt when he woke up, and if he actually could go to sleep last night, John Scheyer, and then Caden Boozer and his mother, how bad she felt.
Yeah.
Right. We saw the elation. The moms always care the most out of anybody, so it's just, you feel bad that the elation, that's what makes the tournament so crazy and so great, is the elation on one end and then the sadness on the other, and you grasp it all, you take it all in, but at the end of the day, you feel bad for the kids like that because they are kids. I don't care what they get paid now.
Right.
That doesn't matter. They left their blood, sweat, and tears out on the court. You could see nothing mattered except winning that game, and someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and that's the magic of the tournament. Danny Hurley said it after the game.
Yeah. Tim Welsh, ESPN, SiriusXM, basketball analyst. I was listening to him yesterday on the radio as I was driving around. Former Providence and Iona coach. I'm curious because I've never been in it, and we're going to talk to a player, a former player, coming up next hour who has been, but I am curious from a coach's perspective. Is there a way to simulate what NCAA tournament pressure does to a player?
No, there really isn't. And, only except if you've been there along a lot of games, kind of like Alex Caravan last night. Just you saw what, all the plays. When he shot that three with about 50 seconds to go, I was watching the game with my son. I said, that's going in. This guy, that's all he does.
Yeah.
He's through his whole career, he's just made winning plays. And, on our show yesterday on ESPN Radio, they asked me for my top 5 all-time UConn players, and I put him in there.
Wow.
It's like, is he an All-American? He's a pro. No, but he's a winner. He's a winner maybe more than anybody.
Well.
He's going to go down as the all-time winningest player as far as the NCAA tournament goes. He's 18-1 in his career.
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
He could have 3 titles.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what those players do. They just make winning plays, and unless you've been in those shoes before, it's hard. It's hard to simulate it. You can go through every situation in practice and how to attack the press and what to do up to with the ball with 10 seconds to go. I mean, if he just would ball faked and looked around the defense, the game was over. He had 2 wide open players on the other end of the floor.
Yeah.
So in theory, you look down there, you see 2 wide open guys. It's okay. He just didn't make the right play. The decision is, I'm not so saying the decision was horrible. I mean, it ended up a bad one, but he could, if he would have just made that pass somehow, some way, maybe ball faked or stepped around the defenders, he would have been a hero. The game was over. So, you feel bad because he's blamed himself sitting there in the locker room after the game. But I love the way John approached it. It's like, it doesn't come down to one play. Yes, you have to make that play, of course, and everyone will remember that. But throughout the course of a game, there's a lot of plays that determine the outcome of the game, and that just happens to be the end. And that's what we all look at and remember, unfortunately, for him.
Is there a curse? Tim Welsh is joining us. This might have to be our final question. Is there a curse to having a big lead in that situation? Because I think naturally you almost back off a little bit, and the other team has nothing to lose, and they are throwing everything at you, and their aggression can get to you. It's not like Connecticut had a massive run to get back in the game. It was a pretty slow bleed.
It was, yeah. And I just think that at the end of the day, after I watched that game coming down the stretch, I thought Connecticut was a better team. I thought they were built better, had more depth, had more experience. You mentioned the point guard situation, so important. I mean, I've seen Connecticut play without Silas Demery, and they're not very good without him. I mean, Malachi Smith is a good backup, but he's not Silas Demery. So, Caleb Foster, the injury really got Duke. I mean, they threw him out of rhythm. I think it made Caden Boozer better. But at the end of the day, you want your full complement of guys, and that's not an excuse, certainly. But at the end of the day, you're trying to hold on for dear life. You could feel the wave and the confidence of UConn. So, to your point, it's probably hard to do that when you're playing a great opponent like that. I mean, obviously, Tennessee couldn't do that against Michigan. They can't stand up to Michigan. Michigan's too good. But Connecticut certainly was good enough and worthy enough to come back and beat Duke. And you didn't think they had enough time, but at the end of the day, they did.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Now, who's going to win this event, Tim?
Well, Arizona, in my mind, is the best team. They're the most complete team. They don't have any weaknesses. I mean, they don't over rely on the three. They play in the paint. They play with pace. They're really good defensively. They got great depth. They've got two veteran players that were starters a year ago that gave up their starting lineup and stayed at Arizona. That's unheard of in today's day and age. And the freshmen start and the veterans come in, and they're still the leaders, the veterans. And Tommy Lloyd's kind of got the monkey off his back as far as getting to the Final Four. I don't think he worried about it too much. But they're the best team, but that doesn't always mean the best team is going to win. I've seen it before. Somehow, I don't know. After watching Connecticut yesterday, they may be destined to do this again. I know that. They're playing with house money right now, but they've been there before. The coach has been there before, and you saw what kind of confidence he has. I thought he coached an unbelievable game down the stretch, and he's coaching better than he ever has. He's kind of lost the whole thing of running at the refs, and he's just coaching his team, and I think that's a plus for UConn. They're not the best team, but that doesn't mean they won't win. I think UConn's still going to win this, even though I think both Michigan and Arizona are better than them, but that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, and Michigan and Arizona have to go through each other before they get to UConn. Tim Welsh, appreciate your time. At Tim Welsh, with an extra S on the end, is that true?
I think there's a 5 in there.
A 5.
I don't know why.
Oh, it's a 5.
Where'd the 5 come
Was that
from?
your number? What is that?
Starting 5. My starting 5.
Okay.
You and some of my friends down in Raleigh. My sisters and my mother. That's my starting 5.
Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate your time.
All right, Adam. Anytime. Great to be with you.
You got it. Tim Welsh here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, we're going to do one-timers when we come back. Go to the YouTube chat. Type them in there. That's fine. Whatever you want to talk about is okay. You have questions. We have answers. And if we don't have answers, we'll make them up. Next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and baseball fans. FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot, like Babe Ruth did against Chicago way back in the 30s. It's daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. This is gambling without money. This is incredible. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home of the home run, the big fly, the tater. Touch them all. Head over to FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. Opt in for daily dingers today. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Carolina Complete Health. From neighborhoods in Charlotte to families in Greensboro, Raleigh, and Durham, all the way to Asheville and Wilmington, and everything in between. We are here for communities across North Carolina, connecting you to the care and support you need. We are here to make healthcare easier to access and understand. We are here to bridge the gap, because your health matters. Your community matters. You matter. We are here for your health. Visit hereforyourhealthnc.com.
Have you ever considered a career as a public power line worker? Public power line workers use a variety of specialized skills to build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system. As a public power line worker, you can expect a career that allows you to work close to home, a safety record superior to other energy providers, and training and apprenticeship opportunities. Learn more about public power and careers in public power at electricities.com.
This April, join North Carolina Realtors in celebrating Fair Housing Month. Fair housing means everyone deserves a place to call home, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. NC Realtors are committed to fair housing for all North Carolinians and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing. Let's work together to create communities where everyone can thrive. Visit ncrealtors.org to learn more about fair housing. paid for by NC Realtors.
I protected my country when I served. Now, I'm protecting my family with VA Life. With no time limit to apply, I can enjoy my time with them knowing they'll be protected no matter what. Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Karen.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. It hurt. It hurt yesterday.
It did. It did. Some people are coming in a little sore today.
Are they? Yeah, there's no doubt. I still have not, and I owe my mother-in-law.
Oh, no, that's right. She's a Duke fan,
gosh.
right? Oh, no.
She has realized that it's hard for her to watch the games live. So what she normally does now is she finds out the outcome and then decides whether or not she's going to want to watch the game.
Yeah.
I think she probably watched yesterday.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
But if she hasn't,
yeah,
I wouldn't.
No, don't.
I'd watch the first half.
Yeah. Do that.
Turn it off at halftime.
Just go to sleep, take a nap, make a sandwich, or take a walk. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. The pollen's going to be bad.
Just get out in the garden.
Yeah.
Get out in the garden.
Anything that makes you happy, do that instead.
All right, we got questions and answers, one-timers.
Okay, so first up, you can put it on our YouTube stream where you can also take our poll about Justin Gainy, whether you think it's a good hire or not. Which I can tell you right now, we have 84% say yes, 16 say no.
Sure.
Yeah. Or you can at me on Twitter, and this comes from my Twitter page. Chuck wants to know, which Duke NCAA defeat is most impactful to you? And it's multiple choice. So,
okay.
A, in 1998, 17-point lead in second half loss to Kentucky in Elite 8. B, 2002, 17-point lead in second half loss to Indiana, Sweet 16. C,
I was at that one.
Oh,
yeah.
2025, last 10 minutes versus Houston. Or D, yesterday.
Oh,
In the
yesterday's.
Nationals capital. That was brutal.
Yesterday's was.
bad.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember the 98 loss. That was Brand's freshman year. I don't remember the 98. I don't know why I don't remember the 98 loss. But I remember 2002 to Indiana. That was a great team. 2002. That was a team that we were hoping we were going to get another Maryland Duke game, maybe in a Final Four, a national championship game. I don't remember the bracket, but yeah, that Duke team lost in the Sweet 16. Look, I keep saying this, once you get to that level, once you get to the Sweet 16, I don't care who's in your way.
Yeah,
they can beat you. Everybody who reaches that level can beat you. It doesn't matter how good you are. But that was a great Duke team.
Yeah.
Jay Williams played on that team. I don't know if you know this.
He did.
Jay might, because I won't bring this up with him, he might have missed a free throw down the stretch.
Yeah, maybe.
Might have. I don't know if he did or not.
Could potentially happen. Next up, this from Chef Wolf. What are y'all's takeaways from opening weekend? His Brewers got a nice sweep.
You can't answer that question.
I heard the Cubs played baseball.
What are you
yes,
talking
they
about?
did, but they didn't get swept. They just traded who got 10 points first.
Right. Mets took 2 or 3 from the Pirates, but lost yesterday. I get to the hockey game last night, and Mike Sundheim, who is awesome at his job and was wearing a very sharp Sunday summery, springy suit.
Oh.
He looked great.
Yeah? Drinking lemonade?
No, not that.
Made me think like spring.
But the first thing he said to me, he goes, I'm already out on the Orioles. I'm like, what? It's been 2 games. He goes, we can't hit. I'm like, How do we know?
I know.
It's just been 2 games.
Yeah.
He sends me a text during the game. I'm back.
Oh, wow.
They score, I don't know how many runs they scored, like 8 runs against the Twins. I think they won 8-6. So he's back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What kind of question? I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I know, exactly. We'll see how it goes. Next up from William, thoughts on Justin being State's next coach.
We don't know how it's going to turn out because he's never been a coach before. We have no track record. But if you're looking for somebody who loves the university, who obviously comes highly recommended by Rick Barnes, and would also get the fan base, then we've checked all the boxes. So just like we had no idea what John Scheyer is going to be, and we still don't know how great he is going to be at this job. I think he is going to be one of the absolute best, but I mean, he's off to a very good start in spite of what some of you people think. We just don't know what Justin Gainy is going to be like as a head coach.
Yeah.
But in some ways, I love the hire for NC State, and in other ways, I do recognize the risk involved.
Yeah.
So, but on the surface, it's a great hire.
Also from William, tell Birdie I said hi. That's the little golden retriever puppy. It's adorable. Love it. What are you seeing with these defensive breakdowns that seem to lead to other teams scoring on their high danger chances?
I mean, Carolina doesn't have the goaltending that other teams have. I mean, that's just obvious. There were no bad goals last night, but I mean, the first or the second could have been stopped. But again, they're not bad goals, so we're not going to fault Freddie on those. I mean, Carolina, the way they play, some of the chances that they give up are glorious. But the reason they lost the game was because they couldn't score. That was why they lost the game. We'll be right back. Cory Smith of Pack Power will join us in about 5 minutes to talk about Justin Gainy. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Rejected! Cameron Boozer got a piece! Get that out of there!
The deep looks from downtown.
McNeil walks up a 3 and connects left corner.
Did he just do that?
McNeil fires a 3, got it far corner, falling down, it's a 2-point game!
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan, driven by Fast Park and Relax, Chapel Hill Tire and Roof Works.
This is it, the finals, and there's only one place to watch. Carolina Ale House, one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. And don't watch history on your couch. Watch it on wall-to-wall TVs with full audio, ice-cold beers, and $6 well cocktails. Dunk our limited-time French onion smash burger, or go all-in with Rib & Mac egg rolls all tourney long. Call now to book your watch party with us. No booking fees, no minimum, and plenty of table space for your beer pitchers. Everyone's welcome, except Will Wade. Carolina Ale House. Ale, yeah!
When your check engine light comes on, do you see a repair bill? Or do you see peace of mind? For 20 years, CarShield's been the name America trusts to help keep you on the road. While other companies stop covering you when your car gets older, CarShield offers protection plans up to 200,000 miles. With over $1 billion in claims paid, we don't just promise protection, we deliver it. Don't let a breakdown break your budget. Get the flexible month-to-month coverage you deserve. Go to carshield.com. That's carshield.com today.
I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website. Gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with 0 payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4348.
Good morning, students. Cartoon Network wants you to start your day off right by speaking up
against bullying.
People can be bullied for all kinds of things.
Who they are, where they're from, what they look like, or what they believe.
That's called identity-based bullying. If you see a student being bullied, be supportive.
Ask if they're okay and invite them to join you. You can be an ally
and make a friend.
Friendship.
Visit StopBullyingSpeakUp.com
and redraw your world without bullying.
Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. Covenant House is the national leader providing safe housing for youth, 50 years strong. Help us fight youth homelessness. Go to covenanthouse.org.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Get it into Boozer, back for Sarr, ahead, Boozer, that ball deflected and stolen by Mullins. Caravan, 2 seconds, Mullins tosses it up. Ah! It's good! With point 3, UConn goes in front.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Thank you very much for being part of this. You can join me on YouTube. I'm actually responding to somebody on YouTube.
What?
Yeah, probably a bad idea, but I might just do it verbally in a little bit because right now we got some business to attend to. And by the way, Jay Williams will join us in 20 minutes. I've got questions. We're going to talk about Blue Bloods, maybe. All depends if he wants to go down that road again. But we got stuff to talk about with Jay Will. But right now, Cory Smith from Pack Power joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I know you're reporting, everybody's reporting that we are going to see Justin Gainy as the next head coach at NC State. Thoughts on the hire?
Yeah, I mean, I think this was, best case scenario given the situation that you were handed. Obviously, this was an option last year. Justin Gainy was a guy that NC State identified early on as a potential target, as somebody that obviously Rick Barnes put all of his money on this past week and said he's a home run hire for NC State. And everything I had heard is he wasn't officially named the head coach in waiting at Tennessee, but he was a guy that they had identified that if things ever went with Rick Barnes retiring, he was definitely on the top of that list. And clearly, you needed, as my guy Charlie, who was on with you guys last week, wrote this morning. This was a need for an identity shift for NC State. You literally just went from a coach that left you after a year, the shortest tenured head coach in NC State history, to a guy that a lot of NC State fans, alums. And the base has now been able to get behind, and it's a guy that, as long as you'll have him, that's where he wants to be.
Cory Smith, Pack Power, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at @Cory Smith on Twitter. And on the heels of Will Wade, and we all feel like, and me with no emotional investment, right? I feel like I bought the line of BS that he was selling for a year. I did. I thought he was a rehabilitated guy, man. He sounded so genuine. I praised him. We came on the show. I'm like, I just want to give you, props for not even waiting for the question to come up, for addressing the fact that you were fired at LSU and all of that. And I bought it too. So, I'll raise my hand and go, yep, I'm part of that group. But coming after that, was it really important to find somebody who got you?
Yes, I think 100%. And, it's funny, too, because, I don't want to just throw this out there and say, this was the, 100% top option. Everything we had heard was that Josh Schertz was the guy that they identified, that they really wanted initially, but they needed him to say no before they could move on.
Right.
And the very next option was Justin Gainy. I was told 1A was Josh Schertz, 1B was Justin Gainy. The only reason why Justin Gainy probably wasn't 1A is solely because of you look at the track record for Boo Corrigan. The only assistant that he's ever hired throughout his tenure at NC State was Lindsey Leftwich, which is the softball coach.
Right.
He typically hires head coaches that have proven experience, have done these things before, whether it's at the mid-major or high-major level in any sport. But what they needed was to go out and go get somebody that understands the fan base, can galvanize the fan base, bring them back together, and keep all the things intact that, as much as everybody's, going to crap on Will Wade now, what he did last year was got the fan base to understand what you need to do to be a serious program in this era of college athletics. Now that you have somebody coming in, and NC State fans have done that, have put together all the things that you need to do to be a competitive program, now it's about keeping it that way. And I think bringing in one of your own is vastly important in that.
Yeah, it is. And, it balances out with the fact that he is not. He has no track record as a head coach, which is what I've said before. That's the risk. We don't know. We don't know what he will be like as a head coach. And we didn't know what Hubert Davis was going to be like as a head coach. He had never been a head coach. We could debate all day long whether he was a good head coach or not. We know what the end result is right now, so it doesn't even matter whether or not we're right or wrong. John Scheyer had never been a head coach. And according to, some people on my timeline, he should be fired. He's the most overrated coach, whatever. We just do not know how guys are going to react as a head coach. But one thing we do know is that he loves the university. And he does have, maybe it's just Rick Barnes created, he does have a rep in the industry for being one of those up-and-comers. Let me ask you this question, though, because you talked about what Will Wade, identified. You need this in order to be, a player in this game. Not meaning a basketball player, but as a program, a player in the game. How much more will Justin Gainy get than Will Wade got?
Yeah, the only thing I've been told so far, specifically from an NIL standpoint, is that it will be, as of right now, will be higher than what it was last year. The question mark is how much higher? How much more can you build to put those things in place? Because we've heard the thing that people love about Justin Gainy is how well he's recruited inside the state of North Carolina. Well, you look at the recent track record, and obviously everybody that he's brought to Tennessee, a lot of people go, well, okay, anybody can bring them to Tennessee, the brand. Well, okay, but
wow,
it's because of the fact that you have the money behind you, and that's I think it's more of anybody can bring them to Rick Barnes, not necessarily Tennessee,
right?
Because of what he's proven over the years. But now it's all right, Justin Gainy, you're going back home. You're going to recruit in the same circles that you have in North Carolina. What is going to separate you? And you have to have the backing. You have to have all those things in place. Not to say that you're going to come in and just immediately beat out Duke or UNC for a recruit, but you have to be able to find some of those guys, and you have to have the resources to be able to lock them in and not have them taken away from you. Like the last few years, Jonas Adu was the guy from North Carolina. Nobody else was recruiting until the very end. He brought him over to Marquette, brought him with him to Tennessee. Bishop Boswell is currently a starting guard for Tennessee that just went to the Elite Eight. Nobody from UNC, Duke, or NC State, even when Kevin Keatts was there, was recruiting Bishop Boswell. He's now a starter for that team. The same thing can be said, not to say like this is where the money gets in.
Right.
He was also the lead recruiter for Nate Ament, who happens to be the top one of the guys that's being looked at as, maybe a top 10 pick in this year's coming up class. That all those things, Justin Gainy was heavily involved in and doing, but again, had the backing to be able to finalize those things at the end too.
Yeah, I mean it does come down to as you said, relationships, with apparently Justin Gainy is good at, but also building a roster. I mean, I've talked about this for a long time, and this goes back to when Kevin Keats started here, is that they never were able to get continuity with the roster and the program. It seemed like every year they were, bringing in 2 or 3 transfers. Maybe you'd get a second year out of some of these transfers, but for the most part, it seemed like it was a new roster every year. I realize Duke in many ways does that, but they do that through freshman recruiting. State was doing that through transfers. They would lose guys too. It was just hard. It's been a long time since State's built rosters that stuck around.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things that you're trying to do with Justin Gainy, is trying to, first of all, stabilize some of this year's roster, because you want to be able to keep as many of these guys as you possibly can. It's something that, Gainy has been able to do and helped to do at Tennessee over the last few years, obviously Rick Barnes being the critical part of that. But when you look at what he's trying to, keep around, there's guys like Paul McNeil that you're trying to sell on right now as coming back for a third different head coach this upcoming year. Having been with the program now, the only guy that stuck around last year, is he going to be the only guy that sticks around this year, or, sticks around for 3 consecutive years? You're also trying to keep Matt Abel, trying to keep some Michael Wilkins, trying to keep some of these critical pieces from last year, and maybe you try to sell some of the other guys that you felt like were upside players that didn't want to stick around under Will Wade. Hey, give us a chance, and we'll try to build you from the ground up again as a different player. So that's going to be the difficult part right now. But again, yes, stabilizing the roster will be a critical part. But that's also just a situation when it comes to the current landscape and players being able to transfer multiple times, no matter how many different schools they go to. I don't think it's necessarily an issue, for NC State. It's an issue for college programs across the country too.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, honestly, and because I mentioned Duke, it's an issue for Duke because they have not had a ton of holdover. There have been pieces, Malik Brown this year, Caleb Foster hurt, Pat Gongba, but for the most part, there's 4 or 5 new players in the rotation every year, and a lot of them are freshmen. It's hard to win with freshmen. We've already done this. Do we know what the timeline for? Real quick, do we have any idea on who this might be on staff with Justin Gainy at State?
The only one that I've heard for the most part over the last week, the last several days, as a potential option to return to the staff was Levi Watkins.
Okay.
They're also, as of right now, trying to keep Pat Stacy, who was the assistant GM this past year. Don't know what role that's going to be in, but he was a heavy analytics guy for this last year's roster. He didn't necessarily pick and choose the players, so I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, well, roster construction was an issue. That wasn't so much on him as it was identifying players and saying this is how much we should spend on those players because of what they bring in terms of value to us. And he was very good at that this past year, and somebody that a lot of NC State boosters and also the players really enjoyed. And there's a couple others that they'll try to retain from this past year's staff because, unsurprisingly, there's not a lot of people that really wanted to go with Will Wade down to LSU, who, mind you, is currently having this press conference down in Baton Rouge. And yeah, that's the thing that's happening too. So, but there's a few that they're trying to retain, but also several that they're trying to bring in. Levi Watkins, a guy that I would watch to potentially return to NC State, though.
Cory Smith, I appreciate your time. Pack Power at Cory Smith on Twitter. Oh, go watch the Will Wade press conference. I hope he comes up with a fake Southern accent like Brian Kelly, but appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Cory Smith here from Pack Power here on the Adam Gold Show. I just want to address this. Jay Williams is going to join us in about a little less than 10 minutes. So it speaks to, look, one of the reasons why it's so great to be a to somebody who talks about college basketball in this area is the level of passion, animosity, and knowledge that so many have. It's really an abstract conversation to have. It's circular. We can sit here and talk about Duke and North Carolina's history and why they're in some ways better than NC State. And then there will be somebody who will go, yeah, but because the Wolfpack were probably the first most important program in the league. Reynolds Coliseum was the palace. It was the home for the ACC tournament. All that, right? When I said, well, was Dean Smith a choker, whatever they're calling John Scheyer now? Did he I think I used the term underachieve. And I pointed out, took him till 1982 to win a title. Well, in the 60s and early 70s, only the conference champion would go to the NCAA tournament. And you are correct. But I did look, starting at about 75. I mean, I could have started earlier. I could have started maybe a year or so earlier, but starting in 1975, when not only the conference champion went to the NCAA tournament, it still took Dean Smith 7 years before he won a national championship in 82. And how did they do? Well, they lost their first game in 4 of the 7 tournaments. And they had pros, man. So they lost 4. They got to the Sweet 16 the first year in 75. Not the first year, but the first year I started looking, 75, they got to the Sweet 16. But they only had to win 1 game to get to the Sweet 16. There weren't as many teams. Then they lost in the first round, played in the championship game, lost to Marquette, lost their first game a couple more times, lost to Isaiah Thomas and Indiana in the championship game in 81. They won it the next year. It takes time. Nobody is doubting Dean Smith's supreme greatness. Nobody is doubting that. I'm not. It's revered. Should be. For a lot of reasons beyond the winning. John Scheyer's on a perfect. They would like to have done better, but 3 ACC championships, back-to-back regular seasons, 7 losses combined in the last 2 years, a Final Four, 2 other Elite Eights. I mean, I just don't know what you're looking at. I just don't. All right, when we come back, Jay Williams, a national champion, but twice ousted as a 1 seed in the Sweet 16. Maybe it's not easy. Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan.
And me, Chris Lee from WRAL-TV.
We're in the offseason, but our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics, rolls on.
In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL Draft approaches.
Insights on free agents and prospects.
Plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 19.
Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. I guess basketball's over, right? I'm just kidding. There is a Final Four coming if you want to pay attention to it. Baseball fans, though, your season is here, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Make your free pick on who is hitting a home run in their game, and if you are right, you will get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at even extra winnings. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home of the home run. FanDuel.com/local, FanDuel.com/local. Opt in today. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and maximum wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Law Tigers was born from a passion for the open road. Over 25 years ago, Law Tigers was built by riders for riders. We protect what matters most: your freedom, your family, and the ride. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Because every ride you take, your freedom could be on the line, and we've got your back. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped, opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom! And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a warehouse operations manager.
Where are the forklifts?
Sold them. Too expensive. We're using scooters now.
So you expect us to move a 2-ton pallet on a scooter?
Just lean into it. Put your back into it, people.
This is your job for Sponsored Jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Gold. Gold.
Person in front of me in line had a box of wine.
Oh, yeah. I feel that person. If you are buying boxed wine on a Friday, that thing is open right now.
In the car.
Yeah. I don't even need it to cool down.
She jammed a big straw right through the top of the box
yeah.
in
Went
the car.
to the gas station to get a cup of ice. Like, they don't even care.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I think Jay Williams might be on TV again. But we'll get to him. Look, there's a number of things to discuss with regards to there's really no other way to look at it other than Duke collapsed in the second half as a team. And it was a slow collapse, too. The comparisons to last year are real because last year was very similar. It wasn't like Houston roared back and it went on some 13-0 run because they didn't do that. But when I went and looked at the similarities between last year and this year, here's what I found. Again, this was the Final Four, not the Elite Eight. Duke led by 14 with 8:17 to play. They lost by 3, right? They led by 9 with 3:03 to play. So in basically 5 minutes, Houston erased just 5 points off the lead. It was a 7-point game with 1:26 left. Couple of turnovers. Remember, Duke had trouble inbounding the ball. An offensive rebound, missed free throw. There's your recipe. Yesterday, 19-point lead. 3:24 to go until the half. Duke didn't score again in the first half. 19, that's a lot. It's not that different than 15, but it's not 21, and it's not 19. And Connecticut got to the locker room feeling okay about themselves. With 14 minutes to play, it was still a 14-point game. So in 6 minutes of the second half, Connecticut had only gotten 1 point closer. At that rate, they would have needed to play like a 50-minute second half to win. It was 11, the lead, at the under 8 timeout, 7:59. It was still an 11-point game. With 5:03 left, it was a 9-point game. This is still a game that Duke controlled. Connecticut was playing better, no doubt. Duke was not the same team that they were in the first half for whatever reason. Might have had something to do with Connecticut. So it was still a very, very close game. But here's what happened in the final 8 possessions. Duke went 2 for 4 from the field, turned it over 3 times. Those 3 turnovers turned into 7 points. They went 1 of 2 from the free throw line. The last turnover, of course, was the killer. Connecticut, in their last 8 possessions, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point land, and again, those 7 points off of Duke turnovers. There's your recipe. Duke wasn't as good in the second half. I thought the interesting thing to me, when you look at the difference between the first half and the second half, was Duke dominated the backboards in the first half. They got 8 offensive rebounds to Connecticut's 6 defensive rebounds in the first half. And in the second half, it was pretty even. Connecticut had a slight edge, but it was pretty even. And I really think, and we talk about it all the time, I think Connecticut just handled the moments, the really big moments of the second half. They just handled it better. All right, I bring in a national champion, a national player of the year, 2-time national player of the year, one of my favorite human beings on the earth. Jay Williams joins us. You and Stephen A., I'm sure had it out today, which is great. I didn't hear anything Stephen A. said, which is even better.
You didn't miss anything, Adam. You're good.
Oh man, we will not put that on the on the highlight reel.
Please do.
So,
yes.
All right, I want to ask you this question because when I look at what happened last night, and there are a number of themes I want to get to. The pressure of the NCAA tournament is very different. You can't simulate it. I'm going to guess here because I've never been in it. So I will ask you, as great as you were as a player, what was your first NCAA tournament experience like? How different was it from any game you had ever played?
Well, Adam, are we having a surface-level conversation, or do you actually want me to tell the people the truth about all the things that are going on? Because perspective and context matter, right?
Do what you got to do, man. I'm here. We got time.
The difference between my freshman year and my sophomore year, or like the difference between being a toddler and being an adult.
Right.
It's that drastic of a difference. And here's the thing. My freshman year, I had more game experience than Caden Boozer. I started every game my freshman year. So to think that a player that is very talented like Caden, was not the starting guard, only logged, 15 to 17 minutes per game, then all of a sudden got thrusted into the starting position to play 35, 40 minutes, his body nor his mind were conditioned to make decisions. And there's maturity that comes into that. So my freshman year, I got punked, had almost double-digit turnovers against at Syracuse against Florida.
Yeah.
But when I came back my sophomore year, Adam, like the game was so much slower. I didn't feel the need to be rushed, nor could I be sped up. I had a way different surrounding around me as it relates to the relationship with my coach and how I gave eye contact. I had thousands of reps, and Caden Boozer didn't get that. And to be in that moment, it doesn't always come down to that one play, but like you have a young team, and when you're young, it's easy to get rattled.
Yeah,
especially when your leader's on the sideline with a foot injury.
That is true. The experience that Duke had in those settings was not 100% healthy. Now, Caleb Foster, I still can't believe what I watched Friday night, as great as that performance was. And it got Coach Scheyer, John Scheyer, pretty emotional after the game. He did not have that same spark against Connecticut. They couldn't go to that well. Maybe they should have, but he's a 50-some-odd% free throw shooter. They probably didn't want him on the court, possibly getting fouled and putting him in that situation. But I just think that it's harder for freshmen, no matter how great you are, because I don't think we saw the same Cam Boozer. As good as his stats look, we didn't see the same Cam Boozer in the tournament that we saw during the regular season.
I don't know if I win a championship my sophomore year if I don't have Shane Battier on my team telling me to calm the hell down.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, you're talking about somebody that played in the national championship game 2 years prior in '99, losing to UConn when they have an undefeated season, right? So, having somebody that has been through the gauntlet before that can relieve you. I mean, I was hotter than Cayenne Pepper, Adam, for the first 4 games, throughout the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. Well, I think I was averaging like 29. And then when I got to the Final Four, I couldn't hit the side of a house where Shane Battier got hot and carried and made so many incredible defensive plays. Like, and to have like your leader, Cameron Boozer, who is still a freshman, even though for spectacular as he is, you still feel young in those moments when it's your first time doing it.
Yeah. It's funny, against Siena, Jay Williams is joining us here. Against Siena, Caden Boozer got them out of that game, right?
Yep.
Cam Boozer looked like I saw a similar look in his eye as I saw from Virginia when they lost to UMBC. Now, Cam, by the end of the game, was playing much better. But I think there was a lot of that, maybe not just in that game, but, Pat Gongba, maybe the foot injury is more of a problem than we thought, because we thought he was just resting against Carolina and then at the ACC tournament. But he never recaptured the Pat Gongba that played, most of the ACC season, most of the entire season. He didn't have the same impact on the court. Isaiah Evans was great for the first 3 games of the tournament. He wasn't against UConn. It didn't have the same game. So there were a lot of guys, I think, that just kind of felt the pressure of that.
Well, so, I mean, here's what I would say. Whenever Duke has been able to win to some kind of degree, we've had kind of like elite guard play.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it takes elite guard play to get to the next level. So, I'm watching Caden, who's young. I'm watching Caleb Foster, who's hurt. And I'm watching Isaiah Evans, who doesn't there's a difference between being, by the time I left school my junior year, I was a proactive thinker throughout the series of sequences in the game. But my sophomore year, I was a reactionary player. I can go off for 20, but also I'll take bad shots.
Yeah.
I'll have errant turnovers. I was reactionary. And Isaiah Evans is a reactionary player that gets hot and cold. And the prime example of that, and I don't know if it was a play design or what, I know it opened up the floor. But if you're an 86% free throw shooter, AG, there's no way I'm running down towards the other end of the court. There's no way if you're thinking through the game, even if John did tell him to do that, as a player in that moment, if you're a thinker of the game, you're saying, no, coach, don't put Kate in that. I'll go back. I'll get the ball.
Right.
I'll get the ball. I'll get the ball.
Or use him to inbound the ball
Yes.
Because they got the ball back to Dame, who was open, and made a good play with it to get it to Caden in the middle of the floor. Dame did everything right in that situation.
But AG, you know, if you're a good free throw shooter, I'm not giving that damn thing up. If I'm inbound that ball and I get that ball back, I'm not throwing it like a hot pocket. Come here, foul me. Foul me.
Right.
I'm closing it. I'm closing you out. Or I'll give you another example of what to do. And these are all the things that you learn the more reps you get. There is a great video online when John Scheyer is watching tape with his team about the Bulls playing.
Yep.
And I think it's Trey Jones who's playing at the Bulls at the time. And I forget where he's playing, but there's where literally he captures the ball going out of bounds with about 3 seconds left to go in the game, and he just throws the ball up.
Yep.
Right? So there's all these things. The more reps you get, the more things slow down. Where even if you are Dame Sarr, even if you are Caden, right, that following year, if I feel like I can't make that pass, I'm throwing that thing up so far in the sky, even if by the time it comes down, like time is going to be off the clock. So there's all these little things that, you know, as you become more experienced, the application is different than what it is when you're a freshman.
Yeah, I remember watching that video because it was this team. It was this Duke team. They had seen that play, and they were all talking about it. And so all of the things that you talk about, all of the coaching that goes on in film sessions and meetings and whatnot, you could talk about it all day long. But then you go on the court, and you have to apply it, and then you add the pressure of the moment to it. The narrative about John Scheyer, Jay Williams is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show. The narrative of John Scheyer as an underachiever. I'm not going to do the choke artist thing, but as an underachiever in the tournament, where do you come down on that?
I mean, sure, we're all underachievers until we're not. I mean, I guess you can make three out of the other four coaches haven't won the big game either. I guess it's about, it's funny. Knocking on the door is the only thing that you can get rewarded for and crucified for at the same time. Right? It's crazy how it works, AG, right? It's like, look at the Final Fours and the 3 straight Elite Eights, and it's like, but you can't win it. I guess what I would say to anybody, and I kind of went through this on my Instagram page and on all these different shows I've been on all morning. I mean, it took Coach K 16 years before he got one. It took John Wooden 16 years. It took Tom Izzo 6. It took Bill Self 17. It took Jay Wright 22 years before they got a championship. And let's just use Coach K for an example. I mean, Coach K went to multiple Final Fours.
Yeah.
Had multiple National Players of the Year in Johnny Dawkins and Danny Ferry. I get it. There are lessons to be learned for coaches too. Especially for a coach in the Sweet 16, was the youngest coach in the Sweet 16 by 6 years. But you can't tell me, though, AG, that when you look at the resume of 3 straight Elite Eights, of winning the ACC tournament 3 out of 4 years, out of winning the ACC regular season 2 years straight, out of getting back-to-back National Players of the Year, 3 out of 4 years, number 1 recruiting class with another one on the way last year, 124 and 27 in 4 years. I mean, ACC Coach of the Year, first coach in ACC history to get to 100 wins fastest, right? The fastest coach to do so. That's sure. Yeah. I guess as it relates to national championships, he's underachieving, but he's overachieving at everything else. And I'd much rather have that guy on my roster than not have him at all.
Jay Williams is joining us here. All right, so philosophical question about where the sport is. And I've said this for a while. I remember when John Calipari got to Kentucky, and he brought in just a ridiculous recruiting class. And there was the Anthony Davis, and I'm trying to remember who was the second pick in the next NBA draft. But it shouldn't have been because he couldn't score.
Oh, he was Michael Gilchrist.
Exactly. Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Great defensive player, but really couldn't score. Shouldn't have been the second pick, but he was. Anyway, they brought in a great recruiting class, and they won the national championship. And then a couple of years later, Duke, 3 years later or so, Duke won the national championship. That was the last time a freshman-dominated team won it. Duke had a couple of upperclassmen. You had Emil Jefferson. You had Quinn Cook. But the point guard was a freshman in Tyus Jones. That's the last time a freshman-led team won it. I mean, is that a coincidence, or do you need to be older? Because Other than Arizona, everybody here is older.
Okay, so, I mean, we're down 22 points to Maryland in the Final Four.
Yeah. I was there.
I mean, AG, like, there's an element of luck that goes into winning. I mean, look, Arizona's, Michigan's boat racing everybody. We'll see if they're able to boat race Arizona. But, like, at some point, like, the ball just needs to bounce your way. It bounces your way. And there is something about being a deer in headlights, unless you're just super gifted, but especially from a guard. I mean, as Tyus Jones was so, ahead of his years and how he thought about the game. But, being experienced helps. Yeah. Why do you think that's where the college game is going towards? I mean, you have rosters that are full of 22, 23-year-olds.
Freshmen.
They're under
23-year-old freshmen.
Freshmen. That's who played overseas professional basketball.
I know.
Right? So that's where we're going, man. That's where it is.
Yeah, you don't see, while you were a sophomore when you guys won it, and Duhan was, I guess Chris was a freshman, but you had Shane was a senior, and you had Carrawell the year before, who was a senior. So there were upperclassmen on that team. I've always wanted to ask you this: should you have been called for a foul? I don't know if it would have been your fourth or foul. I think it would have been your fourth. When I
rode Jason Gardner like a jockey.
I just got the answer.
Hey, it's not my job to call fouls.
You're 100%.
It's not my job.
You
are. I'm going to call a foul on myself. No.
So my theory on Duke all year, that's a great answer, by the way. My theory on Duke all year long was that they didn't have elite athleticism. They weren't a consistently good three-point shooting team, and that ultimately not having that guard to control the game in moments. It hurt them last year when they couldn't inbound the ball, when they were just kind of shocked by the amount of pressure they were dealing with from Houston. They couldn't inbound the ball. It got him this year, too. They turned it over 3 times in like their last 6 or 7 possessions. Is it as simple as you just need to get a better point guard?
I don't think it's ever that simple, Adam. I think it's the luck of the draw, man. I really do. I think if Duke were to play UConn in a game, in a Series 7 of games, I think Duke will win probably 4-2.
Okay.
I really do. To me, frankly, it always comes down to like, and a lot of these like are brackets. So it's if you're a Duke fan today, or if you're a Duke player, and a lot like you're like, okay, Arizona and Michigan had to play each other in the Final Four. This is something for everybody to think about, okay? And let's say Duke did win last night, even though he didn't. But we'll talk about UConn for the sake of it. The winner of UConn-Illinois, that's going to be a great game, right?
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to be hyped up the way Arizona-Michigan's going to be hyped up. People are going to talk about Arizona-Michigan as if it's a national championship game, and the king will be crowned from that game.
Yeah.
So there'll be such an emotional, physical exhaustion for that game that the winner of UConn-Illinois, it kind of sets you up for the impossible, right? Like and all it takes is one great moment. So I guess if you're a Duke fan, you're looking at this thing saying, man, like if we got by UConn, we would have beat Illinois. And then after a dogfight from those two, we would have got a wounded Michigan, who we already beat, or a wounded Arizona, who has a difficult time scoring.
Yeah.
Like you give yourself a legitimate chance. And these are the things that are painful. The same way, and I'll be quiet. I know I talk a lot sometimes, AG, but like freshman year, we lost to Florida in the Sweet 16. Florida then lost to Michigan State in the national championship game. That haunts me. Junior year, we're up 17 to Indiana. We lose to Indiana. Indiana then goes and plays Maryland in the national championship game, a team we beat that year. That haunts me. So it's like, that's the luck of the draw, man. That's how this tournament works. That's why it's the best tournament on the planet.
It is. It's the best sporting event in the world. I'm going to let you go here, and I appreciate your time. By the way, when talking is exactly what I ask you to do. You're allowed to talk.
That's a fair point.
It's not TV. Because of NIL, this is the last thing because I know we have to let you go. Because of NIL and the fact that these guys can make good money, and we saw the boozers all over commercials during the NCAA tournament. I don't know how you would go about this, but Pat Gongba's got a decision to make. Probably be late first, early second. Isaiah Evans, same thing. Dame Sarr, same thing. They could all come back. What would you do?
I mean, if anybody's talking about me being a late first or early second, I can come back to school and earn more money than that,
right,
for 1 year. So I think that's the other way to look at it. I think the challenge is, like, even for a guy like Caden Boozer, Caleb Foster comes back, or
right.
Where does he go?
And we have already we know Darren Ripley's coming in.
Darren Ripley's a stud.
Yep.
So what happens here? Also, like, guys, there's a lot of rumors circulating around too that I think are just interesting, right? Like, what is going to happen to the Chicago Bulls?
Uh-oh.
What is going to happen with Billy Donovan?
Right.
Who is from Chicago? John Scheyer is from Chicago. Like, I'm not saying John Scheyer leaves Duke, but if you're the Chicago Bulls, if you're looking at this young movement of coaches in the NBA, you're going to go target John Scheyer. Why wouldn't you? So there's a lot of things that are happening at this time of the year, not only from the player's perspective, but also from the coaching perspective. It's hard to do what John Scheyer is doing every single year and not feel like financially he's rewarded for it. Or maybe he uses that as contract lever. Like, who knows? There's a lot of movement happening right now.
Jay Williams, Duke legend. Your name's in the your number is in the rafters. I remember the last time we talked about that, I got your number wrong, and I've always been embarrassed by that. I appreciate your time, my man. Hope everything is well, family and all that. You have a nice background when you're on TV. It's a nice little setup you've got at the house. I'll talk to you soon, man.
I appreciate you, AG. You're a brother for life, man.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right.
Jay Will here on the Adam Gold Show. He was 6 of 20 in that Florida game against Florida in the Sweet 16. It's a lot of misses. Right? We already talked about he mentioned the lead against Indiana that he blew. We can hot take these up all day. Duke's got to figure out how to maintain that level of aggression that they achieved the lead with in the second half. Basketball leads aren't as big as you think, because we're talking about a game with, let's just say, most high-level games will have 65, 70 possessions. I mean, it only takes a couple of minutes to change everything. So, again, Duke had a 9-point lead with 5 minutes to go and lost. They had a 2-point lead with the ball and 10 seconds left and lost. It's hard. It's hard to win that tournament. The pressure is real. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We will place bets next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Every day, people battling addiction suffer in silence. Because of stigma, they fear judgment. They fear being labeled, and too often, they don't get the help they need. But you can help change that. Join the Governor's Institute and be a superhero in the overdose battle campaign. Learn how to break the stigma, support those in need, and save lives. Visit governorsinstitute.org/superhero to get involved. Be a hero, fight stigma, save a life.
This April, during Line Worker Appreciation Days, we celebrate our hometown heroes, the public power line workers who keep our communities powered and connected. From powering homes and businesses to restoring service after storms, public power line workers show up every day, rain or shine, to keep the lights on in the communities they serve. Join us in saying thank you to these dedicated, skilled professionals by visiting electricities.com/thankalineworker.
Your background may not include agriculture, but 2 years at the Agricultural Institute will prepare you for career in it. Whether you are a military veteran with an arsenal of skills, kickstarting your second career, or about to graduate high school, the Agricultural Institute at NC State University is the right place for you. Nurture your passion and find your career. Invest in your future and learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Your child's doctor shares your goals, a healthy future for your child. Doctors recommend vaccines throughout childhood because they protect what matters most, your child's future from preventable disease and serious illness. Discuss any questions you have and check that your child is up to date and talk about any concerns. You're right to have questions. Get real answers. Start a conversation with your doctor today. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
This April, join North Carolina Realtors in celebrating Fair Housing Month. Fair housing means everyone deserves a place to call home, regardless of race, color, national origin, religion, sex, or disability. NC Realtors are committed to fair housing for all North Carolinians and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing. Let's work together to create communities where everyone can thrive. Visit ncrealtors.org to learn more about fair housing. Paid for by NC Realtors.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA101.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
We gather together in communities across the nation to light the night. We are LLS, and when we walk, cancer runs. Find your local event at lightthenight.org.
Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6'7". He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing, and that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, like, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria's on the ones and twos. I had a really good bracket until last 10 seconds yesterday. I was this close to all four Final Four teams. I had Illinois, Michigan, Arizona, and Duke. I had Duke beating Arizona in the national championship game. I don't believe that's going to happen now. I'm fairly certain it will not happen. You know what the dumbest thing is in sports? In my opinion.
Okay.
In-game win probability. Yeah. Not anytime, every time I see that listed.
Right.
Oh, you know, at this win probability, like, nah, man, dumb. Never. I'll never, ever, ever cite it.
Yeah.
Games. There's always time. Time to stretch.
Well, you'll definitely really need to stretch if you eat these snacks at a baseball game. So I love this because there's pictures included and everything.
I like pictures.
This article that I was reading was about the most absurd 2026 baseball snacks this year.
Okay.
Which, that's becoming a thing. Like, baseball parks kind of coming up with these kooky fair-like things.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so, pictures are great. Obviously can't show you those, but here are a few things, I guess you could say. So if you want to go to an Arizona Diamondbacks game, they have a Take Me Out to the Ball Game shake. This is a milkshake, and I've seen the pictures. It's legit. It's a milkshake with whipped cream, peanut butter sandwich cookies, and Cracker Jacks. So I don't know about that combination, but they had me.
Give me that again.
It's a milkshake with whipped cream,
Right.
peanut butter sandwich cookies, and Cracker Jacks.
I dig it.
So it could be. The Cracker Jacks is like, it's super sweet. So
It's a milkshake.
I know, but
It's
that's
not broccoli.
Like, ooh, I know. Well, yeah, we'll see. They say you should call it the stomach ache, which it's fair.
Interesting.
That's super fair. Also, for the savory people, brisket donuts are in Houston at Astros
Excuse
games.
you?
This actually looked pretty good. A brisket donut has, it's a donut with brisket inside, then it's covered with barbecue sauce and topped with mac and cheese. Let's go. Yeah. I mean, I don't need the donut part.
No.
I'll just take the brisket, mac and cheese.
Thank you. I don't need the donut. Give me the rest of it.
I don't know why we got to put it in a donut.
I'm not a big mac and cheese guy, but that's fine.
Put it in. Oh my gosh, mac and cheese?
Yeah.
What?
That's not my favorite.
What? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to go play some bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Wow.
Gambling is illegal in Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
A good mac and cheese is like one of my final meals. Like when people say, if you could have certain things for your last meal. I mean,
I'm not going to be able to place a bet now.
Well, I'll kick things off since I talked about baseball. Chicago Cubs, they have some tasty food. I don't know about brisket and a donut, but they are taking on the Los Angeles Angels tonight. So can we please win? We didn't get swept by the Nationals, but I'd like to start this series off on a good foot. So Cubs, and I'm going to take the over because these games have been ridiculous. 9.5 plus 170.
There you go. By the way, I'm not going to do this, but South Carolina is minus 2,000 to win the regional final over TCU. Minus 2,000. They're 14.5-point favorite.
Wow.
It's an Elite Eight game, people. All right, in the NHL tonight, Islanders and Pittsburgh are on Long Island. Pittsburgh struggling down the stretch. They could end up falling out of the playoffs. Give me the Islanders and under 6.5, and that's plus 200. Islanders playing well enough. Pittsburgh's kind of laboring right now. Brian Murphy joins us next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Cameron Boozer. Put it off the window! Count it in a foul!
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Gamba blocks it. What a rejection.
Oh my goodness.
The lob! Brown hangs from the rim, and the lead grows to 22.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan. Driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Wake Med, Fairway Green, and Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry.
What is it, boy? Someone need help? Someone in trouble?
Oh, okay. So you just want me to get Progressive Auto Insurance because their collision coverage covers up to $1,000 in vet bills if you're injured in an accident? That's it? Okay, calm down. Let's not resort to name calling.
Progressive's collision coverage helps pay for care for your pet when they're in the car during an accident.
No, you're right. Sorry, I shouldn't have said calm down.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage included with purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Hey man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them. See if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring is a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
Right wing for three. And the win! It's good! The Blue Devils are elite! Ashlyn Jackson hits the three at the horn. And the Blue Devils will play for a chance at the Final Four on Sunday.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Brian Murphy, WRAL TV5 and sports investigative reporter, was just plain sports reporter covering Duke. Just plain sports reporter. Just covering Duke in Washington, D.C. Heard his questions in the locker room. I'm going to ask you about the locker room. Actually, let's get to that first, and then we're going to talk about potential arena snags in Chapel Hill. Because I talked with a former coach, Tim Welsh, earlier, and he mentioned how impressed he was about the way Duke's players handled that whole situation in terms of post-game and the crushing nature of that defeat. You were in there. What was it like to be inside that locker room?
Well, thanks for having me on, first of all. But it was like deathly quiet. Like nobody was talking above a whisper. Like, and you've been in some of these locker rooms. There was pizza and fruit and sandwiches and chicken tenders and everything else, and just sitting there. Like normally guys would have been grabbing something, eating something. I mean, it was almost like they were in a state of shock. It felt like a funeral in a lot of ways. And I do give all the Duke players, but especially Caden and Camden Boozer, for, answering a lot of questions that, I've seen professional athletes hide in training rooms or whatever to avoid that. And they didn't. They both stood there and sat there, I guess, and took it and answered the questions thoughtfully. And Cameron Boozer even went, he went to the podium and then came back in the locker room, which, a lot of guys can duck very easily. And this crush of cameras around him, and they really handled it like professionals. And probably better than many professionals would have handled it. So, a lot of credit to them. And, Caden Boozer sort of took all the blame on himself. And John Scheyer tried to say, hey, it's, we gave up a 19-point lead. It's not about one play. But that one play is going to be replayed forever and ever. And he said he thought he cost his team the season, and he thought he let his brother down. I mean, it was really kind of, on a human level, sort of heartbreaking to watch someone who's 18, 19 years old feel that much, sense of regret already. And that was just moments after the game.
Yeah. I mean, on a human level, like, I'm sure he's got a support system around him. I'm sure it's his brother, it's his parents, it's his teammates, it's his coaches. He's going to need them to get through all of that. It will be a long off season, I'm sure, for Caden Boozer, and you hope that he comes back an even better version of the player who was put in a very difficult spot anyway. And again, you were there. It wasn't the same Caleb Foster that we saw on Friday night that rescued them from St. John's. It wasn't the same Patrick Gongba that we saw for most of the season. Those two, and they were there. They were able to play, so there are no excuses, but they just did not play well. It wasn't the same Isaiah Evans we saw in the win over St. John's either.
Well, what was crazy was in the first half, and I talked to guys about this at halftime, I felt like, the way St. John's played defense against Duke, just up in their shirt the entire time. I think playing against Connecticut, at least in that first half, it felt so easy. They were getting whatever they wanted. I'm like, oh, well, you don't have a guy like crawling in your jersey the whole time. This must feel pretty good. In the second half, they just could not generate that same type of offense. I thought the live ball turnovers is what really killed Duke. And Cameron Boozer had one. Isaiah Evans had one. Obviously, Caden Boozer had the one at the end. But those live ball turnovers where, Connecticut gets the ball and now they're scoring easily. They're getting dunks on one of them. They got an and one. That just fuels the comeback because it's a lot easier, obviously, to score a transition off those turnovers. And I thought, it's certainly the last one. The last turnover has gotten a lot of attention, but they had 8 turnovers in the second half, and most of those were live balls where Connecticut was just able to score easily and Duke not able to set up their defense. I thought that was like a huge key to the game. 8
turnovers in the second half. Connecticut had 16 points off of those 8 turnovers. They also had, I believe, I think it was an 8-2 advantage in second chance points. They didn't have a ton of offensive rebounds, but they converted off of those offensive rebounds, including one of those possessions at the end of the game where they missed a three-pointer, got the offensive rebound. It only generated a point because they missed one of the 2 free throws, but it got them to the free throw line, and the point, I guess, mattered, right? It was a one-point game at the end, although everything changes depending on the situation. All right, now, go ahead.
If we were in Connecticut, we would talk about those 2 plays they made diving into their bench to save loose balls.
Yeah.
Like, I thought those 2 plays didn't get enough attention, obviously, because we were so focused on Duke, but from the Connecticut side, those 2 hustle plays, I think Caravan had one of them. I'm not sure who had the other, but diving into their bench to hold on to possessions late in that game were huge.
Look, Connecticut, here's the problem. The last 2 years that Duke has ended in the NCAA tournament where they gave away, and gave away is a tough way to phrase it, but that's how we hear. That's how fans here, either Duke fans or Carolina fans, are looking at it. They blew a big lead. We don't give credit to Houston for the way they played in the second half, or Connecticut and how they didn't. It wasn't a big run in either game. There's so many similarities between the two. They just kind of dragged themselves along and kind of inched closer, like death by paper cut. It was just a little bit by bit. Still a 14-point, still 11-point game at the under 8 media timeout. Duke led, I think it was 62-51. I mean, 11-point lead with 8 minutes to go. A team like Duke should hold it. But obviously they didn't. They turned it over too much. Brian Murphy, WRAL TV5 sports investigative reporter. It looks like State's going to hire Justin Gainy. We still don't know about North Carolina. Speculation on whether it's Tommy Lloyd or Dusty May or Billy Donovan. I have no idea who it's going to be. But I know you had an item that I saw, at least I saw you tweet about it, that the new arena, and maybe it's Carolina North as well, but that is going to be put on hold for now. Explain to me the connection between this coaching search, if there is a connection, the coaching search, where they land on it, and the arena.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a very much of a connection. This has been postponed or suspended, whatever verb you want to use, indefinitely. I mean, they basically said until they hire a new coach and that new coach has the time to establish himself in the program. So that could be several years at this point now we're talking. I think they you know, if you're going to land one of these guys, and those are the names that I'm hearing, May and Lloyd and Donovan, you've got to eliminate all distractions, any barriers to them saying yes. And the arena has become a distraction and has become a barrier. Do I want to walk into this situation where half the fan base hates me already because I want to move to Carolina North or because I want to stay at the Smith Center? Like, you would just put whoever the new coach is, and maybe it's not one of those guys, maybe it's someone else. Whoever it is gets put right in the middle of this debate that's divided UNC administration, UNC fans, UNC donors, at a time where you kind of need everybody pulling in the same direction. And so, you know, I'd had some hints that maybe this was coming, that repair option where you just kind of keep the Smith Center functioning for a few more years, give yourself some time for maybe one of these options to really, you know, present themselves as the best option was a possibility. But I think adding the coaching search on top of it and just trying to eliminate all distractions, get everyone on the same page, and not have that new coach walk into the middle of a controversy, right? Whoever it is is going to be outside of the family for the first time in over 70 years. I don't think you want, you know, him to have to deal, and I'm assuming it's going to be him. You don't want him to have to deal with some, you know, divisive issue right away.
I mean, they could call Dawn Staley.
If they could hire Dawn Staley, like, maybe that's better than the options they're going to be left with.
Brian Murphy, WRAL TV5 sports investigative reporter. Here's the thing, and I said this the other day. Somehow, no luxury suites and only 9,300 seats. Duke makes Cameron work. Somehow they do it. I don't know how. Somehow they do. Why does UNC need some, you know, like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium of a basketball arena?
Well, I mean, I think Duke's the outlier, and so when they get compared to it, it's just a little, you know, they've got, and I wrote about this weekend, a story about just how all Duke does is win, right? They won ACC championships in football, in men's basketball, and women's basketball.
I don't know. I don't see that as of yesterday.
Well, that's true, right? But you know, Yahoo reported this, that, you know, the university is handing over some large sum of money to the athletics department. That's happening to a smaller degree at Carolina State, but we know exactly how much is being handed over.
Right.
Duke is a private school. They can allocate that money however they want with very little scrutiny of it outside of their board of trustees, and all that's private. They also have, you know, a lot of well-heeled donors who are very interested in athletics succeeding. And
you think Duke has more well-heeled donors than Carolina?
I think they may have a smaller number, but they have much more money that they're willing to invest. And we saw the story last year about, like, you know, this small group of sort of dark money, and I don't say that pejoratively, but this, you know, they're able to create a fund that helps John Scheyer, you know, do what he needs to do on the basketball side. And coming back to it, I just think that Carolina needs its arena to generate more money to fund everything it does than Duke necessarily does, if that makes sense. Because I think Duke has other sources of revenue to tap into in a way that Carolina needs that basketball arena to throw off more money. Now, obviously, they've been very successful playing at the Smith Center, but, you know, the legacy seat issue kind of complicates everything. You can probably make more money off those seats. if you had suites, you could move those people into suites, and that would give you more options with the students. It's just kind of like, it's one of those puzzles where you got to move one piece to move another, and there's just nowhere to move that legacy seat piece, which I think is driving this entire discussion. I think it's driving the opposition. I think it's also driving, some of the conversation about building at Carolina North or Odom Village, because then you can unlock that piece, which allows you to move the students around, which allows you to sell those seats at a higher premium than they get now. I just think that's the one piece that I think they're kind of stuck with.
Maybe you and I will just disagree on. I think that we would love to have the new toy, the shiny new toy, and it would be far more revenue. But
right,
if the guy down the street doesn't need it, because they don't, and I would say that Duke's alumni base, which is significantly lower than Carolina's alumni base, it's probably a wash how much money they can cull from those people. But again, I look at these things from a sports standpoint, so I'm sure the bean counters over there know what they need or know what they want, but I just feel like this whole thing is just kind of a joke to me. But
I make this joke all the time, and you see it with the Hurricanes, right? That sports is now about real estate and less about competition.
Yeah.
It's about the Battery in Atlanta and what they're trying to do out there at Lenovo Center. It's just sports seems to be, and I think that's the approach that Lee Roberts has in some ways. If you can put a basketball arena at Carolina North, it becomes it accelerates the development of that project, which aids the university in other ways. I think he's looking at it like that. Whereas a lot of us, and maybe myself included, look at it as, well, what's the best basketball arena? What's the best basketball situation? And those may be at odds.
Here's what I would do, and I'll let you go here. This is what I would do, Brian, if I was in charge. If I were Lee Roberts, I would build a new basketball arena right where the Dean Smith Center is. And I would take a year or 2 years and play my games at Carmichael, and I would charge $250 a ticket. Apart from all the other things you would get from Rams Club members, just the right to buy the ticket. I would make the money back, and I would give students. I would put students right around the court. But that would be a money loser, and I would get fired. I would have the job for eight days, and then it would be over, and then we go somewhere else. Brian, you're the best, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Adam.
You got it. Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter. When we come back, I've had so much fun talking to my friends today. Konata Edwards. Hoops. You know what the Hornets didn't do this weekend?
Lose?
They didn't beat the Philadelphia 76ers. Kind of disappointing. We'll work that in with Nada the Scribe next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan.
And me, Chris Lee from WRAL TV.
We're in the offseason, but our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics, rolls on.
In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as the NFL Draft approaches.
Insights on free agents and prospects.
Plus all the insider info on who the Panthers want to pick at number 19.
Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
You know the feeling. Wake up, get ready, get the kids, the list goes on. But what if what you drive could make your life a little less complicated? With convenient home charging, a quieter ride, and an average range of more than 250 miles, EVs are one step toward a cleaner future, so you can focus on what really matters. Give yourself more time to recharge. EVs are for everyone. Sponsored by the NC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
This is it, the finals, and there's only one place to watch. Carolina Ale House, one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars. And don't watch history on your couch. Watch it on wall-to-wall TVs with full audio, ice-cold beers, and $6 well cocktails. Dunk our limited-time French onion smash burger, or go all in with Rib and Mac egg rolls, all turkey journey long. Call now to book your watch party with us. No booking fees, no minimum, and plenty of table space for your beer pitchers. Everyone's welcome except Will Wade. Carolina Ale House. Ale, yeah.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client just got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A-plus rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Been all basketball today. As you might expect, I am going to carve out a little bit of time to talk about the Hurricanes falling short of their revenge on the Montreal Canadiens, as Nikolai Ehlers said on Saturday after the win over the Devils. Looked forward to revenge tomorrow. And they played very well for 2 periods, but were trailing 3-1. And that has put people in their feels, because that's what happens after every Hurricanes game that they lose. Every single one. I wish every single game Carolina won was a reason they were going to win the Stanley Cup. But we all know that it's not, just like every single game that they lose isn't a reason that they will lose in the first round of the playoffs. But that's how it is to some. All right, let's talk a little bit more about basketball with the one and only Konata Edwards at Nada the Scribe, basketball guru, my man. What was your, because I am going to also ask you about the Hornets. What was your overriding thought at about 7:15 p.m. Eastern time yesterday?
Oh, my God, the takes about Duke are going to be ridiculous and stupid. That was my first thought.
Yeah, they are. That's fine. That's why we love living here, Nada.
Well, it's not even the people that live here. The people that live here understood.
The people that are doing this nationally, the people I work with on occasion, those were the people that decided to jump out the window and be dumb. That was my disappointment. The flyover folks.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That is true. Well, you got to have a hot take. I saw, I was watching, I had the sound off, but in the studio, I've got First Take on, and they were debating which 19-point loss, 19-point come-from-ahead loss was worse, Carolina's or Duke's. Like, first of all, if we're really having
Which one of those was the national championship, though? I forgot. Well, actually.
No. The Carolina.
No. Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one that got Hubert fired. So,
come on.
Are we really having this conversation? A first-round loss for a team that was without their best player versus a game in which you were headed to your second straight Final Four? It's not even a debate. If we're going to have a debate about stupid topics, all right, one was clearly worse, the Duke loss. But, yes. My gosh, the whole – because I got it, fire John Scheyer as though he is not on the short list of best coaches in the sport today. Hey, there are some things they needed to do better. There's a roster that maybe needed to have another piece to it that they didn't have. I think they'll have it next year. Darren Rippey's coming in. But they need a veteran point guard who's been there, and Duke hasn't had that in a minute.
So here's the thing. I agree with you in one aspect, but in the other, even Duke has a budget. So we're talking about you have to bring Gongba back. That's not going to be cheap. You have to bring Foster back. That's probably cheaper than most. You have to bring in the Boozer twins. That's really not going to be cheap. And then you talk about Dame Sarr and everybody else. At some point, you run out of money.
Right.
And more importantly, would you have rather had a guy like Donovan Dent or Isaiah Evans? And so
Isaiah Evans.
I get it.
Right.
Exactly. I get it, but it's one of those things because I saw people saying don't skimp on the point guard next time. And I'm like, if you're choosing between veteran point guard and Isaiah Evans is going to win that 9 times out of 10. So I don't necessarily blame Duke for not getting the point guard. It became even Duke has a budget. We have to choose these things one over the other. We chose to bring Isaiah Evans back, and I believe that was the wise choice considering he's the only reason they even got to the Elite Eight.
True. Caden Boozer won the Siena game. He carried them to a place that they still had a chance in that. I can't believe I just said that, but he won that game. They woke up in the second half and took advantage, lived at the free throw line, and beat TCU the next night. And then Isaiah Evans and Caleb Foster. Evans was brilliant in the game. Foster willed them back into it after St. John's, was like a 15-0 run or whatever that was to go from, a few points down to 10 points up in the second half. And Foster, on a bad foot, just willed them back in that game. But
absolutely.
Let me ask you going forward. How do you deal with Rippey coming in, Foster, and Caden Boozer, assuming, and I think it's a safe assumption, that Cam Boozer is sitting in the NBA draft room?
Honestly, it's one of those things like, hey, Caleb, it's nice to know you. You might have to go try to be a pro elsewhere. Unfortunately, Foster might be the odd man out because as much as bad as that Caden Boozer pass is, and he's going to have to live with that for a very long time. There was a lot to like about what Caden Boozer did from basically the end of February on. That's not something you want to pull the plug on. Now, if he doesn't want to come back to Duke because it's the scene of the crime and everything else like that, I would completely understand. But at the same point, that's something you absolutely build on. You have Rippey there. I think Dame Sarr comes back, but I wouldn't necessarily he might have done enough to get himself into that first round or into the top 35 picks of the draft. And then Gongba's obviously gone. And so it's gonna be very interesting to see, like we talked about earlier, how the money distribution goes about. but there's going to be a lot of minutes available, and I'm not necessarily so sure, outside of Caleb Foster, who's coming back, who's staying, and more importantly, who they're adding in the portal specifically for upperclassmen. There are a lot of talented, tantalizing people. Could we see a Juke Harris in Durham?
Interesting.
That's the type of stuff that we're talking about, where there's going to be a lot of minutes, a lot of money, and this roster is going to be very, very interesting going forward, to the point where again, Rippey and Boozer and Dame Sarr would be the only folks. Hamenia obviously there, but you still have a lot to shuffle around in terms of the rest of those roster spots, to where it can get very, very fascinating.
Let me ask you about, because you said Pat Gongba's obviously gone. Is he obviously gone? He's not, particularly twitchy and athletic. He could certainly use with another, 20 pounds of upper body. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's certainly not a top half of the first round pick. I think he is probably not even a first round pick. Why wouldn't he come? I'm just saying, why wouldn't he come back for another year, make more money at Duke than he could make in the league for 1 year, and then maybe take advantage of a draft that might not be as drunk?
Because what I would tell you is that if you're going to stay for 3, you might as well stay for 4. Because you're only giving more eyes and more people chances to pick apart your game. And if you're definitely not – now, granted, the draft next year is going to be vastly weaker, to where I don't think he's a top half of the draft guy in a bad draft anyway. I think he can project him. He can work himself into that back half. We saw it. I mean, Ryan Kalkbrenner, now granted, Kalkbrenner had all the accolades, but he did a lot of work for himself in Chicago and in those private workouts. I'm saying Gongba can do the same thing, especially after he transformed his body.
Go through
from year 1 to year 2.
Go through it. Go through the process.
Go through the process. But I do think after he completes that process, he is absolutely getting drafted in that first round.
Okay. I would say to Isaiah Evans the same thing. Go through the process. Keep options open.
I think he did a lot of work for himself. Evans is different because I think Evans did a lot late, to where I think he's more likely gone than staying.
Yeah,
he's done a
that jump shot looks kind of funky for the NBA.
It does, but also at the same point, it becomes we can fix that with maybe a couple of months in a G League program, and then he comes up late.
You already drafted him right to the Hornets. Send him to the Greensboro Swarm. Konata Edwards, basketball guru at Not of the Scribe on Twitter. I think with the amount of money these guys can make, to me, staying is better for a career than going before I'm ready, because you'll get cycled out if you're not ready.
I do agree. I do agree with that, but I do want to caution you. At a certain point, when you're 20, 21, making $3 million and possibly shuffling back from, let's just use Charlotte as an example, from Greensboro to Charlotte is a lot better than making $3 million and potentially having to pretend to care about school, especially at Duke.
You get a lot more exposure at Duke than you do. Actually, this is a true story. I talked to J.J. Redick when he was still in school, and we talked. Actually, I guess he was about to graduate. It was after his senior year, and I was interviewing him at the Final Four, wherever the Final Four was in 2006, where we were. And I said to him, you've got to be anxious to get to the league where you won't live in a fishbowl like you do at Duke, because it's what it is at Duke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You can go to the league and be anonymous as a J.J. Redick. Most of these guys go to the league unless you're one of the superstars in the league. But if you're at Duke, you're on every game is a nationally televised game.
Fair, but I would also point out for J.J. Redick, there's no such thing as anonymous. when the people of Maryland hate you so much, and they are everywhere.
JJ was an absolute blast to cover in school. All right, sir. How did the Hornets lose to the 76ers over the weekend? And that was damaging, wasn't it?
Damaging in the fact that they didn't get like 5 and 6 are officially out. Like avoiding the playing together is officially out. So it's damaging in that regard. 7 most likely out because you surrendered the 7th spot to essentially the Sixers because you lost a tiebreak.
Right.
8, 9, and 10. Like they made again. No matter what, they're good for at least one playing game. Yes, but I would also argue that game was one of those things where you saw the limitations of Moussa Diabate. Like Moussa Diabate is one of the most key linchpins, but unfortunately, his one weakness is that he cannot guard all-star bigs. Right. Like if you've looked at like again, unfortunately, like Embiid lights him up. Karl Anthony Towns in a couple of matchups lights him up. Like again, the big all-star guys. Now, granted, for a guy that was drafted in the second round and was initially a two-way guy for the Charlotte Hornets, saying he can't guard all-star bigs isn't the worst possible thing. But unfortunately, like that's their fatal flaw. And if they're going to go against a guy or go against a team in the playoffs or in a play-in situation where you have to guard like a Bam Adebayo or a Jalen Duren, that's the fatal flaw, and that's unfortunately the thing that they cannot overcome because that rebounding advantage that Moussa Diabate generates is effectively nullified if he's got 2 fouls and he's already on the bench with about 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes to go in the first quarter.
See, what you got to do is you just got to force Bam Adebayo out to the three-point line where he'll take 21. What was he, 8 of 21?
Sir, that's only against the Washington Wizards, and that, again, against a team that's actually trying, he won't do that.
Oh, God. I love the press conference afterwards. So,
Of course. But here's the thing. Like, and again, if we're going to go back into that, like, I don't feel bad for the Washington Wizards. No, you're not trying to win. So, again, and it's too late to get Pride in the third quarter just to triple team him and make sure he doesn't get the record on you. That was a little bit too late. You guys could have actually played hard, and he would have scored 50, and nobody would have cared. But instead, you're in the history books because you know what? You're a tanking team without shame.
Well, true. But one very quick thing, then I'm going to let you go. Konata Edwards, at Nada the Scribe on Twitter. I've already admitted being wrong about LaMelo Ball. Ball is a...
to be fair, you are not alone in that.
No, I get it.
You were not alone.
I didn't think he was a winning player, and I'm absolutely wrong. He just needed to be a healthy player and maybe get somebody else to drive him around at times. But he is obviously, he's their star. Con Knipple has been tremendous for them, and I can't wait to see the progression of this team. Got to keep this group together, but can't wait to see the progression of this team. But what does it, and this is not about the Hornets, what does it say about Trae Young that the Atlanta Hawks have now gone on this run while he's in Washington? They got rid of him and got better?
Defense matters. Like that's quite literally it. Defense matters. And the fact that they developed Jalen Johnson into something I don't think a lot of us saw, certainly not Coach K,
can't believe
saw
it
coming. Like that guy is a top 25 NBA player, point blank, period.
Well, here's the thing about Jalen Johnson is that we saw that type of ability at Duke. What we didn't see was the desire to use it.
True. Like he truly treated that 1 year like, yo, I'm only going to be here for a little bit. I'm not going to show much, and then I'm going to get to the league. He treated that like it was a phony gap year, and you can't do that at Duke. There are other schools that you can do that at. Kentucky is famous for it.
LSU.
But unfortunately, you cannot. Yeah, LSU will absolutely be famous for it, and they'll pay you a lot of money thanks to Will Wade.
Did you see any of his press conference today?
I wish. I would say that man needs to find shame, but then if he had shame, he would not have left. So there's that.
That is so funny. He said today we're gonna make history. Either we're gonna hang a banner or I'm gonna be the first person fired twice by the same school. I give him credit for the joke. Konata Edwards, my man, at Nada the Scribe on Twitter. Be well. I will talk to you soon.
Absolutely. We're going to commiserate over the Mets at some point.
What do you mean? It's 2-1. We're 2-1. I talked to somebody yesterday who was out on the Orioles after 2 games, and then they won yesterday 8-6, and he goes, all right, I'm back. I'm like, what are we doing? We got 162 games.
It's called conditioned response, sir. We have been treated poorly by these teams before, so it's very easy to go back into that dark place. I am not going to judge, nor I'm going to shame, and neither should you.
Very good point. Thank you so much. All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Talk to you later.
The games, we got a lot of them. Can't live like that in Major League Baseball. They play 162 times.
Yeah.
We could argue
Yeah,
that's probably too much.
It's way too
Probably
much.
too much. I get it, revenue. But we should probably go back to about 144, expand the playoffs. Playoffs are fun. Yeah, but
Yeah. You can't live and die by each game.
people do.
Yeah, they do.
All right, we're going to stretch. No, we've already stretched. We're not
Yeah,
stretching.
we stretched.
We're going to rewind. I do want to talk about the Hurricanes when we come back. Plus, we never did a wall of sound, and there's a lot of things that you probably need to listen to, whether it's from Duke or Connecticut or others, and we'll talk a little Canes next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And have we got a deal for new customers? Not that we don't love old customers, but new ones we really love, at least early. Because right now, FanDuel is giving you up to $300 in bonus bets back every day for 10 days. New customers, get on board. Here's how it works. Place any bet with FanDuel using your Bet Reset token. If it doesn't win, you get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 straight days. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel. Sign up today and play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Tokens are received in increments of 1 per day. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available. If you feel lonely, isolated, anxious, or overwhelmed, help is here all day and night. Call, text, or chat 988 without cost, without judgment, and without waiting for an appointment. You'll get support that can make a difference. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Carolina Complete Health, from neighborhoods in Charlotte to families in Greensboro, Raleigh, and Durham, all the way to Asheville and Wilmington, and everything in between. We are here for communities across North Carolina, connecting you to the care and support you need. We are here to make healthcare easier to access and understand. We are here to bridge the gap, because your health matters. Your community matters. You matter. We are here for your health. Visit hereforyourhealthnc.com.
From the food we eat to the clothes we wear, agriculture touches every corner of our daily lives. I'm Lee Ivey, director of the Agriculture Institute at NC State University. With the world's population growing, we need people equipped and trained to meet the needs of our future. In our program, we rise to meet that challenge every day, and our students are engaged and invested. Invest in yourself and learn more about our program online by searching NC State Ag Institute. Deadline for fall enrollment is June 1st. 2 years, 1 degree, endless possibilities.
Have you ever considered a career as a public power line worker? Public power line workers use a variety of specialized skills to build and maintain a locally owned and operated electric system. As a public power line worker, you can expect a career that allows you to work close to home, a safety record superior to other energy providers, and training and apprenticeship opportunities. Learn more about public power and careers in public power at electricities.com.
Let's talk rechargeable battery safety with tips from the National Fire Protection Association. Only buy products with a safety certification mark. Charge devices on hard surfaces. Don't use off-brand cords and always unplug when fully charged. Charge into fire safety at fpw.org/battery.
This is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We're going to talk a little Canes here in a minute. We're going to hear some sound that we didn't get to because we didn't do a wall of sound today because we talked to Brian Murphy, who was up in Washington, D.C. with Duke, and we talked about the Carolina Arena. When we placed our bets earlier, Victoria, I was looking for a bet that I could not find.
Oh.
I was looking for a line that I could not find. Tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing the Anaheim Ducks.
Yep.
The last time these two teams played, defenseman Radko Gudas went knee to knee on Austin Matthews, and Matthews out for the year.
Not good.
It was a terrible look. We can debate all day long, intentional or not. I don't know. He was suspended 5 games for the hit. Toronto was not happy that it was only 5 games. Again, not getting into that discussion. Hockey hates discipline for players who do stupid things. They despise it. I don't know why, but they do. Anyway, tonight when they play, Gudas is injured, by the way. He got hurt in a couple of games ago. He wants to play tonight because what Gudas wants is for this score to be settled. He understands that by playing, somebody from Toronto is coming for him. And as a player who understands the vigilante justice code of the National Hockey League, he would rather it be him than one of Anaheim's really good young players. We don't want anybody going after, Bennett Seneke. Or Seneca. Sorry if I mispronounced his name. Or Mason McTavish or any one of the... Anaheim's got really good young players. We don't want anybody going after Jackson Lacombe. So I was looking at... the whole point of this was a wager. I wanted to wager whether or not Radko Gudas would be in a fight. And by the way... it is minus 450.
Oh, wow.
At an offshore site.
Okay.
Who will Gudas fight? Right?
Right.
And they go down the list of players, and they've got Bobby McMahon, who is plus 550. And as I just responded to the person who sent that email to me, Bobby McMahon does not play for Toronto anymore. No. He plays for Seattle.
So I don't think that's a good bet.
Definitely not him.
Yeah.
But if I had to guess, I would say it will be former Hurricane Max Domi. That is my guess. That is my guess for that. All right, let's get into a couple of other things. Hurricanes lost yesterday. I have a couple of tweets on it, one of which I will definitely read. Hurricanes lost to the Montreal Canadiens 3-1, and I know we say this a lot. Carolina bossed the game for 40 minutes. Now, you weren't the better team for every minute of those 40, but you were the better team for about 33 of them. I watched it. I was there for it. I saw all of the scoring chances that Carolina did not convert, and I saw the handful that Montreal did. Now, we always talk about it. Sports is about moments. Montreal won the moments. But Carolina was so much better than them. I legitimately wondered, is there a record? Is there some record book for dominating a game and be down by 2 goals? Because that's what Carolina did. Dominated the game and trailed by 2 after 2 periods. Third period, throw in the trash. Carolina played well, but Montreal wasn't trying to play well. They were just sitting back and absorbing Hurricane shots. Carolina was way more dangerous in the first 2 periods than they were ever in the third period. But I understand why everybody's frustrated by the Hurricanes. When they do have games like this, where they are clearly the better team and control the puck for the entire game, and then first chance the other team gets, it's a goal. Our goaltender sucks. None of the goals were bad goals. The first goal was a breakdown in a few other ways, but Nick Suzuki beat Freddie Anderson 5-hole from basically right between the hash marks, in between the circles. Could it have been stopped? Yeah, could have been. The second goal, breakdown in other areas. And then you got a 45-goal scorer, Cole Caulfield, who beats Anderson between the blocker arm and the body. Would you like him to be closed down there? Yeah, but Cole Caulfield now has 46 goals. There's not a long list of players with more goals than Cole Caulfield. He is one of those players. And then the third goal was a power play goal that Anderson actually makes a great save on, but nobody there to knock Nick Suzuki off the puck, and he just punches in his own rebound. So these are not bad goals, but maybe you get one of them. Not the last one. Maybe you get one of the first 2. And there's the difference between a bad goal and a goal that, man, we would have loved to save there. And again, it's not about Freddie failed the team, because the reason they lost was, I think they had 100 shot attempts in the game. Now, not all of them are amazing, but at 5-on-5, they outchanced Montreal 15-5, and they did not score a goal at 5-on-5. The goal was on the power play. So, we have fans debating, but somehow I'm involved in it because I put something on Twitter, and then fans debate.
Roped you in.
About Carolina's finishing is terrible, but we've got Bradley Nadeau in the minors. Just bring him up, and suddenly Carolina's finishing will be solved. And I'm like, okay, I'll play. Who's coming out of the lineup? Oh, I don't know, Jordan Martinook or William Carrier. Why would you take out really good players who are critical to the way Carolina plays to bring in another goal scorer, which they don't really need? They're the 5th highest scoring team in the NHL. They have the 9th best power play, and in the last 50 games, they're like a top 3 power play in the entire sport. What are we doing here? Why are we reacting to a game in which they played well but did not win? Just because it's Montreal. They might never see Montreal again this year. Granted, I've been saying for weeks, I think Montreal's really good. And if you told me that Carolina would have to go through them in the conference finals, I'd be like, yep, I could see it. Do I think Carolina would lose a series to Montreal? They could. But I think they could also win the series with Montreal. Because if you watch the games, Carolina was Not the first one. The first one was a gong show on New Year's Day. But if you watch the last two games, Carolina was the better team. Just couldn't solve the goalie. I don't think that's going to continue forever. But changing your lineup based on a game that you played very well in is kind of silly. Kind of silly. We talked about the trade deadline and what Carolina didn't do. And I talked about it for months. What does Carolina need? I wanted to see another defenseman or two. I wanted to see a right-handed center. And I wanted to see another goaltending option. They didn't do any of them. Okay? They decided they didn't need it. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I hope they can get back at least to where they got last year without any additions to the group. Right now, they appear to be relatively healthy. If you're healthy going into the playoffs, okay. Still don't have great depth, but at least in terms of the blue line. But if you're healthy going into the playoffs, you got a chance. All right. Rather than a rewind, there are certain things you need to hear. So Will Wade was introduced today at LSU. Here he is.
And make no mistake, this is home. I wasn't born in Louisiana, but Louisiana's home for me, and me and my family. And so, we're coming back to make history. We're going to make history one way or the other. We're coming back, like Dr. Ruth said, to try to hang a banner, win a national championship, or I'm going to be the first coach fired from the same school twice. But one way or another, we're going to make history.
When he said Dr. Ruth, all I could think of was Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Am I the only one? I can't be the only one who thought that.
Probably not.
And then all the things that Dr. Ruth used to talk about just made me laugh. All right, here is Will on the mischaracterization of him and NC State.
I think some of the things have been mischaracterized on how I left, but I'm not going to get into I don't want to get it. I learned long ago, I'm not going to get into a back and forth on all of that. The people who need to know. And look, everybody has to, when there's a situation like this, everybody has to cover has to cover. Let's put it that way. And so I'm not, I'm at peace with how I left. I'm at peace with what we did. And, look, I mean, they're pretty mad for a coach they didn't think was very good. So, I don't.
Wait.
Yep.
They're pretty mad for a coach they didn't think was very good?
He said that.
They wanted to keep you.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted to keep you, Will. In spite of what you didn't do at the end, they still wanted to keep you.
LSU also chose to play Slim Shady back again as he walked in today.
Oh, very nice. Good for them. They have a sense of humor. They have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like I said last week, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. That's Will Wade. But we have such short memories in sports. I doubt it really matters. But, yep, they didn't want you, Will. That's why they chased you. They drove you to that airport, to the private jet. Hysterical. Victoria, thank you very much. It's been a cathartic Monday. See everybody tomorrow.
And I deny the tears in my... Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly.
And me, Dennis Cox.
And we are headed to Indianapolis.
Join us Thursday and Friday from Indy, the site of college basketball's national championship.
We'll bring you all the news, insight, and interviews you'll only get by being there in person.
Maybe we'll even talk to Carolina or State's next head coach.